Test. Test. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Oops. Starting strong, right? Starting strong in other ways, though. Hello, everyone who tuned in early. It was actually pretty amazing. I think that's the highest I've seen, like, waiting now, or however that YouTube system works. There were 12 people waiting now. That's pretty great. I think normally I get, like, 2. That means people were excited. And I didn't even do a lot of work on this thumbnail. It was, it's just very basic today. We're just gonna go over those games that were played this weekend. We're going to draw a winner for the Ohio Clash. I need to announce that today. Oops, actually, let me add that to this thing. The Speakeasy ticket winner. We'll announce that when we get to it. And we'll close this. Okay, I assume you can hear me. It was bugged. It's going to be echoey for a second. Hello. It was bugged. Yep. Okay, you can. Cool. All right, everybody. It's been a great weekend. Multiple reasons. Number one, I got my new glasses, which, already. Sammy, what's up? I was preparing dinner for my kids, so yes, waiting to see your new glasses. Ah, that's what you're waiting for? Perfect. It's the debut. Finally, I have my new glasses, and I don't know. They're very large. I actually really needed a new prescription more than I needed new frames. My prescription was like 4 years out of date, so I had to squint like quite a bit. But I went ahead with new frames and got... Oops, did that unplug? No. And just got wider lenses, or wider frames to begin with, because I hate it when the frames are smaller and then I have like no peripherals. So yeah, they're pretty big. But they're very functional for me, thank God, because I was running into issues there. I also went ahead and got gold to match my family ring. You got some matching bling there. Yeah, I like them better than the aviators, that's for sure. So thank you for everyone who donated to make that happen. They were a lot more expensive than I thought, but stream money still helped. So thank you for that. Haven't shaved. I don't know. Probably should, but we're looking scruffy. Let's see what else to jump into before VOD stuff. I guess there's been a couple new spoilers. What's next? Haircut? Need donate? I don't know. I'm kind of dreaming a Jon Snow look here. Jon Snow, you know him from Game of Thrones? We're pretty much there. In fact, yeah, I think if I just put more hair product in, I could pull off exactly that. But it's about to be winter in New York, so I need the mane to keep me warm. So I think at this point we're not gonna let it get any longer. I just need to actually tease it up, which I don't like doing because I hate hair product. It makes your hair all crunchy. But yeah, this was the goal, so I think we're there at least. No, the next goal is just help make all the travels feasible. It's about to be a long month. I've got Ohio this weekend, then I've got Denver the next weekend, then I've got San Jose the next weekend, and then Philly the next weekend. So 3 Battle Hardens and Worlds all within a month, and I'll be on the road for pretty much all of it, dragging around all my new camera gear, bringing you guys amazing content like you've never before seen. You'll see. Dr. Oak, hey man, good to have you here. Really exciting matches? Yes. Or entertaining matches? Yes. Now, unfortunately, as far as entertainment goes, you couldn't hear us talking, but Pablo and I had some of the best banter I've ever had in a Fab game. He is so incredibly nice, and also really doesn't mind getting absolutely bent over by Levia when ridiculous things happen. That game was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's crazy because he also had the most ridiculous hands, but you just get to see which deck can be more ridiculous with its 10 out of 10. Just absolutely insane hands. And I guess the answer is Levia. But most of the time when I play that matchup, Viserai just tends to be scarier. Their hands are more consistent than ours. But hey, if we get a good game in, it's still a win. You're going to Ohio? Really, really neat. Yeah. Be there. We'll be there. Gonna be leaving this Friday, so I'll be there for the entire weekend. Be there for the Speakeasy and all that, and then Denver Battle Hardened after that, and then Worlds, and then Philly. It's a lot of travel. Thought about doing Denver. Oh, no, Robin, check this out. A flight out of Rochester to Denver was $26, and you live in Rochester, so you should just go ahead and pick up that ticket. I've never seen a plane ticket for $26. When I saw that, I had to go. Like, that's just nuts. I don't know what's the connection, what's the hub there between Rochester and Denver, but the planes, oh my god, it's so cheap. And I got some friends to stay with out there. My cousin lives there, so makes it really easy. Where's that rock? Oh, the rock we're leaving in the past today. We're not going to play with the rock today. We've got more important things to go over. Really, really important stuff happened this weekend. And actually, I want to test out... You sure that plane can fly? Oh my god, maybe the reason they charge 26 is they heard they can just steal my luggage and get away with it. So I'm gonna like book my bag with all the camera shit, and they're just gonna take that, and that's the cost of the ticket right there. I think they might have heard from FedEx and Play Airlines that that's how it works. But no, it's Frontier. It's a real airline. Okay, wait. I wanted to try. How do I start a poll? Okay, so I wanted to start a poll here. Can I only do yes or no? Here we go. Watched. All right, just because I've never done this before, I want to see how YouTube handles it. Watched. Yeah. Watched. All right, just to get a gauge of where everyone is in these amazing games that happened this weekend, let me toss this question up. Oops, I can't spell. All right, here we go. Okay. So here's a poll. So go ahead, give that a go. I've never done one before. I assume it's easy. You just click on it. But we're gonna dive into today the show match I had against Nitya, which was definitely more. Oh, I should have had a none option. Damn, Terry, you're right. I had a game against Nitya, who is the brute queen, and I did not know I was gonna be playing against Nitya this weekend. I just knew I was gonna play in this like show match with the Tavern Brawlers. I didn't know who I was playing against. I didn't know what I was playing against, and that was just kind of a blessing. That was amazing. I got to play against Nitya. She was incredible, and that game was really good. So we're gonna dive into that, like really good game. Very impressed with this game. So we're gonna dive into that one. I honestly think it's way more exciting because it's way more tight. And then we've got of course, Pintor versus Van Sant. I think a lot more people saw this one, of course. It's on the 983 Media. But this game was just ridiculous. And it also actually had a lot of high-stress moments that aren't really caught on camera because the game looks like it plays so well. But there were actually a lot of things going on my end that I was sweating bullets for a lot of it. So we're going to go over, both of these. And I think more exciting will be the Pablo game because it's quicker. So we'll just look at that one real quick, and I can give you the POV. Where do you watch these matches? They're linked in the description. I dropped both the Nitya game and the Pablo game. Both links are in the description. Or you can just stick around, and we're gonna watch them right here, and probably add some well-needed commentary. Because I'll be honest, not many people know how to comment Levia games. It was a little rough. So just because I think Nitya is the less seen video, just like I assumed here in this poll. Good job. Thank you for voting, people. We'll do Pablo first, and while more people kick in, we'll jump over to Nitya. Okay, so just to give you background, on this gauntlet thing. So this was a invitational set up by Flake, Tan and Grace, and then his name is Uber on Discord. I don't know his real name, but there are 3 casters that wanted to go ahead and bring together some of the huge strengths of other digital TCGs in hosting these big invitational events where your favorite streamer, your favorite players, these kinds of big names that you would love to see play against each other almost never do in a real event. Because in a real event, all those people have to actually make top cut to get to play against, the matchups you want to see on stream. Does that happen all the time? No, it happens sometimes. And it's really exciting. It's really fun. So the idea is bring them all together into just one 16-man bracket where every game is super hype. And they did a great job. I really love Flake, Uber, Tannen. They really worked hard on the back end to get this together. Production value is great. I love the logo. Such a smart name. I think Flake came up with it. This Goliath gauntlet. It's very cool. So they invited me, and as far as I know, this is the rumor. Excuse me. This is the rumor. I actually wasn't part of the 16. They wanted to invite Dalen Mack as the 16th person, but he couldn't do it because of football. So instead, they asked me. That's the rumor. So I just squeezed my way in at 16th place as a backup spot, right? But I'm happy I got in. I'm very happy I got in. because this is so cool. I mean, these players are legendary. It's really fun to just like be on screen, have my name up there with them. I don't think I fall into the category, even though I may be, best Levia cosplayer in the world. I'm not the best player in the world. That's far from being true. I've got no big wins. But just being able to show up with Levia is really cool. Because how often do these great players even get to play against Levia? Probably never. Realistically, probably never. They don't test into it. They don't care about it. If they find it randomly in Swiss, they assume they just roll it. So that was my angle going in. I was really, really excited because I knew, hands down, I'm gonna bring Levia, not gonna touch Fi, nothing else. Even though the way that the payment thing is worked out behind the scenes is everyone gets paid an appearance fee. And so the theory was, don't be a super try-hard sweat because everyone's getting an appearance fee to show up. We're trying to make this entertaining, not so cutthroat. But that said, these players who they invited are still, pretty sweaty because they play at the top of their game. They want to win everything. So the decks that they have good reps with, the decks they want to represent, are never going to be an Azalea or Levia. So most people still played like very top tier decks other than like some of the Dromais. And then of course there was me on Levia. And this Levia build is actually not the build I wanted to run. I hadn't tinkered with it enough to get it exactly where I wanted it to be in time to lock it in, but I had to lock it in. I would change about like 2 or 3 cards in this list moving forward from all the games that we've been playing on stream. But this is pretty close to just like, Bill's very functional aggro Levia list. I changed like maybe 1 or 2 cards, I put all you got in there, which is coming up in a second. So yeah, maybe change like 5 cards total. But still, I would tweak even more. There's a build I've been playing more recently that I enjoy more than this, and it'll be the world's build that I take. So, definitely still this aggro core with Rouse is where I'm happy with Levia right now. You might be the only Levia cosplayer. No way. Miss Shalise was the first Levia cosplayer. She took over Twitter with her young Levia cosplay. And she's also, like, super famous as a cosplayer. Like, way more famous than me. Okay, what else is scrolling? Oh, yeah, just equipment and whatever. But you've all seen the deck list at this point. You understand. It's, okay, they're going to skip to Viscerai soon. It's just aggro. It's trying to keep large hands. It's trying to just wallop your opponent, keep the game consistent, keep the game short, and keep the game really spiky with your power cards. That's very effective. The one weird card maybe is the Iron Rot Gloves, but I did bring in the Iron Rot Gloves because I wanted to absolutely hands down beat Fi, because I assumed that since this was post-ban list, Fi was going to be the most represented deck in the bracket, and sure enough, I will play against Tarek tonight. I'm playing against him like an hour after the stream, and he's on Fi, and so I really wanted to make the Fi matchup as favorable as possible, so that's why that was in there. You got me on Levia as my 3rd deck in prep for Dynasty. Hell yeah. All right, you want the juice? This card is very good for Levia, truly. So you better start picking up your cards now. She may be busted. She may be. I doubt it. It's one of those like little bit of a brute card, there's some variance involved, but it is a very good card. Did you see the Briar game where 3 Mount Heroic turns in a row? Yeah, and that's also my fear is you can't really tech to beat Briar as a Levia, because if they just high roll the living shit out of you, what do you do? But Levia can do the same thing, where she just like rips blood rushes. So, that matchup's just going to be what it is. But you can at least tech to beat Fi, because he doesn't have those insane, like even if you draw Spreading Flames 3 turns in a row, that's not crazy, because he actually needs to have slowed down, set up his arsenal, needs to draw it next to like a Flame Call Awakening to make it nuts. Like, he just doesn't rip the same damage that a Briar would, so... Yeah, that matchup's like a lot easier to build for. I already got them from when I started. Worked out perfect with the chain switch. Perfect. Levia confirmed for Worlds? Absolutely. Hands down, I am 1000% playing Levia for CC. In Blitz, I'm still like a little uncertain. In Blitz, I want to genuinely play the best deck because Levia is too much of a variance deck to be the best deck. Sometimes the variance is great, but in Blitz, it's overwhelmingly tilting because the game can be so short. You just draw 3 hands that aren't quite there, and that's it. You just lost the game because of that. You can also draw 3 hands that were so amazing your opponent got to do nothing, and you win. But that, for my mental, is going to be horrible. Whether that's good or not, for my mental, I know I just can't handle that shit. So I do want to play like a less variance deck for Blitz, honestly. I would touch Lexi, honestly. You want to teach me Lexi, Peyton? Go for it. But okay, here we go. Here we go. And actually, real quick, I would love some critique on this. They told me to do an overhead cam setup. However, I tilted it a little bit because my issue with an overhead cam is you can't see cards in hand. And when you're playing an online tournament, you want the integrity to be pretty high, right? And so if you do overhead, like, what's your hand doing? I mean, I know me personally, I wouldn't do anything. I hope no one in this event would do anything, but it does sketch me out a little bit if you can't see your opponent's hand. So I broke the rules. I did tilt it a little bit so you could specifically see me hold my cards. I don't know. They didn't want me to do that. They still asked me to change it to direct overhead, but I don't think this is that bad. It's if the angle's like too tilted, sure, it sucks. But I thought this was pretty okay. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know. They told me to switch. So against the Tarek game, I probably will have to switch it. But yeah, so you can see, I don't know if the die roll was caught on how they cut it here, but he did win the die roll. And Pablo decided to go first, which is perfect. The one decision point in going first or second in this matchup is actually if they go first, I take Null Rune Gloves. If I go first, I do not take Null Rune Gloves. And the difference is when a Viserai goes first, they are not going to attack you. They're just going to build up sticky damage with rune chants on the board, right? And so the risk is they might have the most insane turn 0, start with like Mordred, Rune Chant, Incantation, and like Rune Blood Incantation or whatever it's called. They can potentially make up to 10 Rune Chants on turn 0. They might. They might. And if that happens, I need to just say, hold up. I will commit my next turn to just soaking the Rune Chants. I'm not going to give you 10 free damage. So because of that, I take Null Rune Gloves going second into Viserai. If you're going first into Viserai, you don't really care. The damage they land is the damage they land. You want to just slam them with your hand. So that was the first decision point that happened already because he won the die roll. And he doesn't have the best turn 0 here. You know, he pitches to Grasp, which is, I mean, why wouldn't they do that turn 1? But then he does get a little bit of an extra bump here in the Rune Blood Incantation. And this still isn't so bad for me because he's only making 1 Rune Chant this turn. He's going to trickle in a couple other Rune Chants with the Rune Blood, but he's not building up this overwhelming amount of like 4 Rune Chants going in to his real turn 1 when I have to start defending. So I was very happy with his opening here. And I was even happier because my opening was nuts. My opening was a Blood Rush Bellow. And the thing about this build of Levia is a Blood Rush Bellow on turn 0 is way more live. Because you have so many draw discard cards that you're very likely to be able to claw attack with 0 cards in graveyard. Because the other issue is if you're playing more of like a mid-range Levia build, you need 3 cards in your graveyard. And Blood Rush is going to go there, it's going to discard a card, then what do you do with that 3rd card? Well, you just wouldn't be able to attack. Now in this build, I definitely was hopeful that I would draw discard, because it's still possible to just draw, you know, like a Hungering Slaughter Beast or something and just not be able to swing. But at least 10 damage in Arsenal was good enough. So I went for it, was really hoping I got that draw discard, and I actually do, as you see coming up here. So the one thing to note about how this turn does pan out though, is I pitched a Reckless Swing, and I only run 1 Reckless Swing. So it being in my first hand and going straight to the bottom is a little bit annoying because in an aggro matchup, they definitely always get in Reckless Swing range. They can't help it. So when I know a Reckless could be coming, it's just another kind of way to potentially just sticky the win. But putting it on the bottom right here and not having any shuffles in the deck is definitely a little bit annoying. But, you know, it's okay. I'm starting out really strong. It's an 18 damage hand, so I can't complain. And I even get the Eye of Ophidia to try to dig deeper for my next power card. Oh boy, I thought I put those on the bottom. I don't remember what they are. They're probably like a draw disc. Oh, it's because the Wild Rider's coming. So I left something I wanted in graveyard on the top, and then the next card was something I wanted in hand. So just clearing out the next Wild Ride. I wonder if that was actually a little bit incorrect, because the Wild Rides, the Go Again enablers are so strong that actually that might have been a bit incorrect. I could have swapped the order there and make sure the Wild Ride is what I draw up in the next hand. But I'm pretty sure the other card I saw was an Endless Maw. And an Endless Maw is a really high priority card. If my opponent is not blocking and wants to swing into me, then Endless Maw lets me block down, still play a 2-card hand for 9. And so I'm pretty sure that's what the other card was, because I think I do play it this next turn. And so I'm, you know, hedging my bets here that Pablo will have a really good turn, because he, of course, blocked nothing. And because of that, I want a smaller hand play. So oh man, you can almost see what cards I have in hand. Okay, I do need to hold them up a bit more, I guess. There we go. Good job, Ethan. Good job. But yeah, we see on Pablo's end, I may have started with a Blood Rush, but he actually goes ahead and launches with a Mordred Tide and a red Mauvrion. I mean, that is a freaking must-block combo right there. I'm jealous of the way you play your cards so delicate with drawing placing them down. It looks so professional. Thank you, Peyton. I mean, part of the issue is I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like an absolute spaz in that game. But Fab is like really, I mean, it's a game I'm trying to take more professionally. So I do poignantly like treat the cards a bit better. And because Levia cares about zones, I get like all OCD about squaring it all up and making sure the board is so clean. Thank you for reviewing this. It was great to watch you play the game. Looking forward to discuss specific play. Okay, perfect, Kevin. Thank you. When it comes up, let me know. All right, so what we see Pablo doing here is quite literally like his best return. He gets the free rune chant coming in with the rune blood. It doesn't proc off Mordred. Mordred has to be played after that trigger, so that's nice at least. But a Mordred with red Mauvrion, with red Shrill of Skullform is an absolute must-block scenario. And the way my hand's looking, I actually don't have a great block option. Mark of the Beast is not a card you really want to block with. In fact, in this deck, it's more of a discard target than anything, because it lets you discard to, you know, Pulping, Wild Ride, Blood Rush, and still turn off Blood Debt. But it's the card I had to block with in this scenario because I did have an Endless Maw. I think my hand was like Endless Maw Blue, which is absolutely fantastic because, yes, I'm going to sack a lot of equipment early, but the ability to stick another Endless Maw in Arsenal is so darn strong. Like an Endless Maw or a Swing Big in Arsenal early game are the absolute two best targets because they're your strongest two-card hand plays. So if you know that your opponent is trading with you early, then you want to trade back the best way possible. And the best way possible is your two-card hands. So sure enough, here we go. I get an Endless Maw coming out. The Blood Debt is already at 1, so I'm happy enough to go ahead and turn it off with this play over something like a Swing Big. Of course, it's 1 more damage as well. Double Arc Smash. What's happening? Just lost to Levia and Talishar. Somehow they ran double Arc Smash. Oh. Oh, I see. Oh, Dihimono. That is so strange. Levia's really shouldn't be on Arc Smash right now. Yeah, no problem, Peyton. Levia is such a great freaking deck to play. I feel like, from an outside perspective, she looks very straightforward, because as far as game actions go, you're taking like 1 or 2 a turn. But you have to quite literally be 1000% tuned in to your game, or a single mistake will throw the match. Like, easily throw the match. Easily. So, this was stressful. Even though I had a great start, Pablo also had a great start back into me. He kept his arsenal. He's building into another really strong turn, obviously. But very fortunate to find the Endless Maw so early. Endless Maw is the perfect early game and late game card. Mid game, actually, it's probably just fine at all points in the game. I can't pinpoint it to a specific phase of the game. It's always really good. It's just the best rate you have in Levia. Turning 2 cards into 4.5 damage is insane. Now, Viserai, funny enough, actually has the closest way to match that. He can, with a blue and a Rattlebones, actually get 8 damage out of that 2-card combo if he targets a Swarming Gloomveil. It's going to create a Rune Chant. Swarming Gloomveil comes in. It has Go again. So that's Rune Chant, Glooming, that's 4, into Rosetta for 2 and 2. That's 8 damage off of a 2-card hand, and it's split wildly. So, funny enough, Viserai is like the one deck that can almost match this Endless Maw value. And it's one of the reasons I freaking hate this matchup. Viserai really is a lot sneakier with the way he's dealing his damage, and the rate is always so good. And so when you're playing 2 kind of like honest high rate decks against each other, Viserai is the one that's a bit more dishonest. The one that's got a bit more sneaky play available compared to what a Levia can do. So, still really happy with how that turn worked out. Of course, I don't have hit effects, so him blocking with equipment there is totally fine. The one thing to maybe wait for, though, is if I swing big. That's the one thing where equipment block, especially coming from a Viserai, is very crucial, is getting a Quicken token can really open up their turn. So I don't think he necessarily should have blocked with Grasp of the Arcanite, but the Crown obviously was there for hand fixing. So he goes into his turn here and leads with, I think this is his Rattlebones turn. Yep. So he's basically bringing back a very strong play. It's not the most efficient rate, though, because he's targeting Shrill off of a Rattlebones, and that's a 4 cost, which is really awkward curve for Viserai, so I'm pretty happy seeing that. But the reason he went for it is because he wants that tall number for his next Red Mauvrion. Red Mauvrion off of something as tall as Shrill of Skullform becomes really difficult to block. You know, it demands either your full suite of equipment again, demands a Husk, it demands like 2 cards from hand, whatever it is. So he goes for a bit inefficient route to still just push this mob effect, and he still will get the Rosetta off and Arsenal. So he's 1 pitch inefficient, but it doesn't really matter because he still gets a really good play off here. And like I mentioned with the Nullrune gloves in this matchup, I'm only really using them if his turn 0 is insane. So at this point, they're just accoutrement. They don't do anything. They're just there to look pretty. And they don't even look that pretty because they're not altered. But I will probably never actually pitch into the Nullrune gloves here. They're just a hedge in case his turn 0 was nuts. So I'm always eating this Arcane, but then I have to decide on the Shrill block. And the issue on this decision point was I'm getting to the point where there could be enough Arcane leaking in soon, like if that's a Revel, which I'm pretty sure it actually is a Revel, if I remember correctly, that I really need to use Husk early. Because if I don't use Husk early, I'm going to be at threat of just losing it to just leaky Arcane damage. And I decide to go ahead and block with 2 cards out of my hand there instead, because I'm not entirely convinced it's a Revel. You know, it was, but we're still not like in complete danger zone, so I made a bit of a hedge. The other thing about that hand was those cards weren't necessarily playable. Did I have a draw discard? I feel like I did though. Maybe I didn't. I feel like my hand was like a draw discard, a blue. Oh, is that all you got? Okay, never mind. Yeah, so those cards weren't actually playable anyway. I could have sworn I had like a pulping that turn or something, but I did not. So that all you got on his Rosetta, which is a great value in this matchup. Lets you draw a little bit. The issue is you almost never want to play that card from hand, because if you play it from hand as Levia, the card you draw basically is going to just be your arsenal card. You don't want to hedge your bets into drawing something playable, because you need to be in control of your blood debt pacing. And so you will craft your blocks around keeping cards in hand to already do that. So that all you got draw will be your arsenal card. And there can be an issue there if that card you drew just sucks for arsenal, which is actually what comes up here. So I don't really want to play it that way, but I go ahead and do it. Just because I wanted to protect a bit more Husk life. Because if I went ahead and ate an extra 2, then I'm at 18. And Husk is under a little bit more pressure. That was still probably incorrect, though. That was definitely probably not right, just from how I'm explaining it verbally now. There was no harm in just waiting and getting that in Arsenal compared to using it versus the 2 life protection for Husk. So, oh well, I think that was a bit wrong. Got greedy with it, because this Arsenal card is really bad, is what happens. Like, I really kind of got stuck here. Husk and Scabskins was good. No, because the issue was I can't do anything with the Boneyard Marauders. I don't have Go Again on any of those cards, and I don't have Gambler's Gloves. So if I keep those cards, it's just super inefficient. So I'm betting more on the fact that maybe he has 1 more Tall turn, and then Husk gets value. Because Tall and Visceri could be, at this point, of course, another red Shrill, another yellow Shrill would be perfect. It could be any 4 attack, and I'm still fine trading Husk for 4. It's probably okay because it's also protecting from a Mauvrion hit effect is normally what happens. So, no, I just couldn't do anything with those other cards. So I do go ahead and block with them. So considering you were so much in a leading seat, why not Husk plus Scabskins? You ended up blocking with 2 cards plus Scabs. Oh, okay, yes, I already replied. There we go. I already replied. Yeah. So actually, I didn't have a Go Again, is why. When I led into that conversation, I thought I had a Go Again card, but as we saw the blocks, I did not. So it was just always right to go that route. I'm never going to get greedy and roll Scabs without Gamblers and just throw a game. That is perfectly fine. Like, I'm very much in the lead seat here. Like, I don't need to throw it. So that second Endless Maw that we found the turn earlier, really, really strong. It let us just commit to blocking on that turn. But as you see now with Pablo, he's playing this really smart. Now that I'm getting in a, like, kind of that Husk threshold of life, he's going to fall back to blocking and making Husk really inefficient. And this is perfect play into a Levia. Like, absolutely perfect play into Levia. Because this can be the issue where if he really stops throwing too much damage at me, then a couple things can happen. Number 1, Husk is under threat. Number 2 is with inefficient blocks, my graveyard might not actually sustain itself anymore. Because if all he's doing is swing Rosetta, sure, I can block 3 out of it, but I'm never going to have a chance to maybe refill and block like 2 cards, maybe even 3 cards, and get my graveyard back into a healthy spot. So he's playing the mid game absolutely perfectly as the Viserai. So I get really worried here because my return doesn't actually guaranteed turn off Blood Debt, because I had a chance there to actually discard my 1 way to turn off Blood Debt. But, you know, we went for the pulping anyway. Might have to get a little bit lucky. I think my Blood Debt was only at 3 or so it's not the worst to end up taking it. But I still was pretty convinced that, okay, we might have a bit of a poor trade this turn. I'll still probably swing 12 is what we're looking at, but I'll end up eating maybe 3 if it doesn't work out in the discard. But the discard does end up being okay. I discard a blue. Blue would have been nice to keep for Claw Swings, right? Because now pulping has enabled the Claw Swings. But I do still keep my card to turn off Blood Debt. So I go ahead, toss in the Boneyard. I'm 1 card inefficient because there's nothing I can do with that extra card. That extra card in hand was a red, so I couldn't pitch it in for claws or anything. I don't remember what it was, but it was a red. So it's just a 12 damage turn. It's 1 card inefficient, but you can't be upset with a 12 damage turn out of Levia when you're in this kind of seat. I just pushed 3 damage with pulping, dominate coming home big, of course, and then Boneyard is just madly efficient. So yeah, really can't be mad about how that worked out. But it could have been an extra 3 damage. It could have, if discards were different. But nope, we turned off Blood Debt, so we're not gonna fret too much. If you really can't do anything with the cards, it does make sense. Yes. So that was like our first big gamble turn. You could call our turn 1 a bit of a gamble turn because we weren't sure that Blood Rush would draw us into an 8 damage attack. I mean, the ceiling would have been a swing big, and it would have been 10 damage. A 20 damage opener turn would have been nuts, but it could have been a 10 damage opener and Arsenal. So that was a bit of a gamble turn, but no matter what, it's what we were doing. We are not under pressure for blocks, right? But this was the first turn where we actually could have made play decisions a bit differently, because I decided to not block the Rosetta, right? I just ate it. But maybe, since I was 1 card inefficient, it would have been better to go ahead and toss a card for blocking, but then you change how pulping could draw and discard, so you never really know. You never really know in a situation like that. But once again, Pablo is playing this mid-game so absolutely well. It's just perfect. He keeps a 1 card hand to swing 1 and 2, and this is normally a really good closing scenario for Viserai. If he has to be on the bait of the back foot, he can consistently just keep a blue to return 1 and 2, and it's quite a big damage leak. But from the position I'm in, it's not so much that I'm low, it's that my Husk is under threat. And so this turn I actually do decide to use Husk on his Rosetta, and it looks really bad, but the reason I do that is because I actually can't, once again, guaranteed turn off Blood Debt with this hand. I can't do it. I'd have to get lucky with this hand to turn off Blood Debt. So because of that, even if I ate 2 and went to 14, I might just take, 2 or 3 Blood Debt this turn and just lose Husk anyway. So it looks really rough, but that's because Pablo is playing it perfectly. Like, he did everything right to put me in a very low value Husk situation. So life right now is 14 to 16. It could very much change because this turn could just make it so I don't turn off Blood Debt, and that'd be a huge swing, because then all of a sudden life is probably relatively even again. He can start to look for another pivot as his Tunic builds up, but we get insanely lucky here. Insanely lucky. I draw a Beast Within. I think I actually had the Beast Within in hand already, is what happened. Because otherwise I probably would have just gone for the Deadwood Rumbler play to try to turn off Blood Debt that way. But yeah, we actually hit the Beast Within discard and draw into a Graveling Growl, which is just insane. Like, that luck is just insane. Graveling Growl is good in 3 situations. Number 1 is next to Dread Screamer. It's just the best right hand. Number 2 is off the back of an Art of War. And number 3 is the most high variance scenario, but you're seeing it come up now, is discard Beast Within and draw into it. Because now you've satisfied the Blood Debt clause. The fact that you've banished a 6, Graveling's now playable. It's absolutely nuts. So, like, this turn really is where the game starts to spiral. Like, I think up until now, it was a very even game. Very even game. But as soon as you hit a Beast Within, a Levia game will start to spiral. Now, the one little bit of a trip up that happened, though, is I got that yellow Wrecker-Up stuck in Arsenal from the That All You Got draw, and it's a trash card. But the reason I Arsenaled it is because even with Crown gone, there are situations where I could end up with a bit of an inefficient hand, like after an Art of War. So there is an option for me to play it out, just be 1 card inefficient about it, but at least it swings for 7. And arsenaling that card did dig me in a bit deeper towards my next power card. So even though it sucks, I went ahead and did it. And we actually do find a turn where it's playable, and it's even better for me because Blood Debt was already off. Like I get to just play out the Wrecker and not worry about the fact that I'd need to play like an Art of War or Dread Screamer first because I just didn't have to. I hit the Beast Within. So that was just insane. Like that turn was insane. Absolutely nuts. But once again, Pablo playing it perfectly on his end. He keeps a 1-card hand, and at this point, the 1-card hand is not a blue. It's actually a red Read the Runes, but red Read the Runes still deals 3 damage, the same that a blue would for Grasp Rosetta. But now he's building into having 3 rune chance and his Tunic coming up to swing 5 next turn off of 0 cards in hand, which is really, really strong for him. But this deck is built, this Levia deck is built to just be relentless. And we have seen a good chunk of our go again. Not every turn. I mean, we had our Endless Maw turns, so not every turn was a big go again turn. We haven't seen like our Dread Screamers yet. But the way with the deck's built, there's so much go again across the Pulping, the Wild Ride, the Art of War, the Dread Screamer, the Blood Rush, that, yeah, I mean, you pretty much just find a way to do it every hand. So this hand that we next draw up is an Art of War turn. And it starts a little bit clunky because my hand was, I think my hand was like double Swing Big, double Art of War. And I was like, oh god, like, this kind of sucks. I have to get rid of a Swing Big. It's going to be fine to swing into, but it's very unlikely that my follow-up attack is going to be pretty relevant. Unless I draw into like a Graveling or something, that'd be nice. But even if I draw Dread Screamer, it's just going to be worse damage rate. I won't be able to swing Claw after it. It'll be a little sad. And I also would still need to draw a resource card. But then the Art of War Banish draws into another Swing Big and a blue. And like that is literally the God draw. Like that is just the God draw. There's not a better draw from that point. It was insane. So off the back of an insanely lucky last turn, we get another insanely lucky draw sequence turn. So things like really start to come together here. Like really start to come together. I mean, that was a 4-card hand that dealt 16 and turned off Blood Debt. It was just nuts. And the Art of War will draw you closer to your next big card. And with us having this Wild Ride sitting in Arsenal, we know that as long as we sequence the Go Again, we had another safe Go Again in Arsenal to just keep putting on pressure. So so far, the deck has just like not tripped up. Even finding the non-Go Again turns with the Endless Maw are such a good damage rate that you can't be too upset about it. But other than those 2 turns, every turn has just been Go Again, Go Again, Go Again. And this turn is also absolutely stupid. It's just dumb. This was another hand where I couldn't actually turn off Blood Debt. But from the position I was in, I'm like, okay, honestly, it's fine. I'm still in such a lead that if I just end up with my turn being like Wild Ride, Claw, Arsenal, that's probably still okay because my Blood Debt's only at like 4 or something. But somehow we discard another Beast Within. Like that's just luck. That's just luck. Like it's just dumb. I mean, I can't play for that. It's just what happened. As soon as that happened though, this turn gets insane. This turn gets insane because I already thought it was going to be a 12 damage turn. But what comes up now is the fact that Rouse, with that extra card in hand, becomes live. Holy shit. Holy shit. That is not what you plan for with Rouse at all. Rouse is normally your blue pitch that you can set up late game to trigger for just an extra source to go again. You can put it in Arsenal, and you can have the God draws early where you reveal like a Swing Big and something else, and like boom, there you go, or like a Hungering or a Graveling, whatever. Like it can be live. It can be live, but you really don't expect it to happen like this. You don't expect it to happen in the middle of your turn. All of a sudden, Rouse is playable. It's insane. Like that's literally never happened before. It's never happened before. So this game was absolutely, because I win on this turn. It's just too much damage. Or wait, do I win on this turn or do I win on next turn? I think I win on, yeah, I win on this turn, right? Because he's down, he can only block, yeah, he can only block 3 and that's a 7. Yeah, so that's a 20 damage turn off of a Beast Within. Like that was just, it's just dumb. There's nothing, unfortunately, Pablo could do. There's no interaction if I discard a Beast Within. Beast Within is just like that insane high variance card that just pulls a win out of nowhere. Because quite literally, I couldn't turn off Blood Debt on both turns I had Beast Within. The discard just happened and all of a sudden the turn exploded. So yeah, that was just lucky. That was just insanely lucky. To be fair, even blundering on one of those turns, I think we were still very fine with how the game played out. Also, they do have it incorrect here. I'm at 9, not 6. They have it, they think that the orientation was correct, or like, you know, the same way as up on the phone. Wait, when do they actually edit that? I was at 9 though. I was not at 6. So it was a 9-0. I don't know when they specifically changed that, but they think that they're both 6s right now, but it's not. You know, one faces me, one faces the opponent. So it's 9-6. So anyway, that was a 9-0 win versus Pablo. And it's kind of sad because he really played it perfect. He really did. We just got super lucky off of the Beast Withins. Like, we just did. We just did. No, I had one Beast Within, and then I just drew into the next Beast Within off the top. So that definitely made the odds better. It definitely did. But yeah, it's kind of crazy because that draw sequence was really strange. Like, I didn't see Dread Screamers. I didn't really see... Well, I saw one Blood Rush. But for the most part, the other Blood Rushes were hiding. But the entire, like, next half of the deck was still absolutely stacked. Because other than one Dread Screamer that we pitched, I mean, there was still another Art of War, there were still 2 Blood Rushes, there was still, like, one more Wild Ride. There was still, like, so much threat in the deck. It was really cool. Like, it really just ended up being pretty cool. Pretty cool game. Let's see. And then we look at the bracket real quick. Where'd it go? Where's the bracket? So my next match is versus... Where'd the bracket go? My next match is versus Tarek. I mean, my last name is Van Sant. So that's why I go by Mansant. It has nothing to do with masculinity. I just think it's a very easy, you know, just add 2 lines to the V, and you got Mansant, which sounds a little bit more cool. That comes from when I used to play, like, League of Legends in college or whatever. Like, I just wanted a cool handle because I was on the esports team. So I just went by Mansant is how it happened. But, yeah, so Vans off the wall. I do wear Vans. Yes, I quite enjoy them. So my next match is actually against Tarek, and I do play him today. I play him in, like, what time is it? 2 o'clock, basically. I play him in 3 hours. We're going to get our game in right after the stream. And honestly, because of that, I actually don't really want to play a lot of Levia on stream today, because I promise you he will scout. He is that kind of player. He does not want to lose to a Levia on camera. I promise you it would be quite the ego hit. It happens to a lot of people. I get it. A lot of people are just damn near, like, quitting the game if they lose to a Levia. I've had people say it. I've had people say it to me where they're like, oh man, if I lose to Levia, I guess I'm quitting. I'm like, okay, catch me in 20 minutes. And how about you goddamn quit the game, sell me your collection? Like, it's so annoying. People are such assholes about it. And I don't really know Tarek that well, but I kind of get the vibe with how accomplished he is and how much I just, like, don't really know him, that maybe he's that way. Because Pablo I know pretty well. We've talked, we've hung out, and he's super friendly. We have a good rapport. I like him a lot. I just don't know Tarek, so I got to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's one of those players that will just lose his mind if he loses against Levia. So we're gonna try to hold our cards close to our chest, because I do think that matchup's pretty good for Levia. But yes, I play Tarek in like 3 hours. When you beat Isaac, yeah, that's the other thing. So in this lineup, it's actually pretty funny. I've beaten Matt, or not Matt Rogers. Where is it? I've beaten Michael Hamilton in a team sealed event. I've beaten Hayden Dale in a draft. I've unfortunately not beaten Brendan Patrick. Wait, is it beat or beaten? Jesus. I did not beat Brendan, but I got him to 1 and then died when I played him at the Pro Tour, which was unfortunate. Just Levia hands. I have played against Majin Bay a couple times, and I think we're even. I've played against DM Armada, I think, like, once in an Armory, and I'm pretty sure I won. I played against Tyler one time, and I did win. Granted, it was Tales of Aria sealed, which was kind of just nuts, but we were both on Briar. And I played against Isaac Crute and beat him in top 4 at the SCG Con in Syracuse. So as far as like this bracket goes, feel pretty good. I mean, it's a lot of big names, but I've played against most of them and feel pretty good. Did you watch Tarek's round 1? I did. And the thing is, there's not much to learn when you watch a Fi game. They're pretty much all the same. Like, we found that out last stream when I tried the Fi deck that won Battle Hard in Dallas. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so cool. It's like such a tuned Fi deck. I can't wait to play it. And it was quite literally the same exact type of Fi deck that we've been playing for like 3 weeks. It's just not that interesting. They just do the same thing. Like, a Fi deck that does the same thing every turn is the best Fi deck. That's all they're trying to do. I beat Dante from Canada back in Skirmish Season 1 when he was unstoppable with Ira. Nice, Terry. He's very cocky when he saw that I was also playing Ira. You can imagine his saltiness. Yeah, I can imagine that. Canada has some salty players, man. I mean, so does the US. I can be salty too. But Canada in particular, I've run into a couple of very salty people. Not I actually not Isaac, but yeah. Oh, PK Sim, you're from Spain as well? I think I knew that, actually. Yes, Pablo is really awesome. I enjoyed that game. We talked a lot after the fact, and I just really felt bad because you try to analyze that game, and it comes down to, well, if I just didn't discard Beast Within. Like, that's pretty much all you can say is, sorry, it was a game until I discarded Beast Within. And what's actually very funny about my spoiler card is this is like another Beast Within type thing. It's gonna really have a lot of feel bad moments, but it's gonna have a lot of holy shit game instant one moments. And I don't know if Brute like really needs more cards like that. Those are like the worst type of ones to play against. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so that was the game against Pablo. Hopefully you all liked the insight, because as you can see, you know, there's a lot of shit going on my end. Like, I'm scared through a lot of it. Like, there are turns where I couldn't turn off Blood Debt. There are turns where, like, things could just go sideways on the discard. You know, the Null Rune became, like, an absolutely wasted equipment slot because he didn't build up a huge massive rune chance. So, you know, there were things going on my end that were pretty scary. The Wrecker Romp in Arsenal, you know? There were things. So, hopefully you enjoyed that commentary. This game is actually a lot more interesting because it's not a stomp at all. This was my show match against Nitya, which I actually did do the overhead cam for, so you guys can tell me now if you prefer it or not. You can let me know. It's just not as exciting. Like, they wanted me to do it for, you know, better content, but same deal. Like, you can't see cards in hand, and I don't enjoy that. But okay, moving right along. So this was a team challenge from Malaysia. Malaysia has this amazing store. They're actually the store that grades with PCG. Hold on, let me pause real quick. They're actually the store in Malaysia that grades all the PCG stuff. It all comes through their doors. Invictus Forge, really great guys. They challenged me before to like a best of 3 against their best players. And you might have seen that video. It's a horrible video because it was on my laptop and it was TTS, and I hate using TTS and whatever. But I do win it 2-1. So they wanted a bit of revenge. So they reached back out. And they're like, all right, we challenge your team, Tavern Brawlers, to a show match. 3 of our best versus 3 of your best. And, you know, they said yes. I don't really do a lot with my team. They're there for a lot of support, which I enjoy, but I don't really jump in that much just because I've got all my own shit going on. But you think Top Down's great, Uber? Okay, good. Thank you. Oh, wait, are you Uber? Like the Uber? The Uber from the Goliath Gauntlet? You might have missed the thing I said before then about the one preference I have with a bit of an angle, and I'm not talking about steep angle, but an angle like this, you get to see what your opponent's doing with their hand, because that's like the one contentious point on webcam play is like, what, you know, where are your hands? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So that's like the one thing I prefer with like a bit of an angle tilt. Let me see where you can actually see where my hand is. But like, you know, this is wrong. I shouldn't be showing it this much. I'm definitely giving free information. But for the most part, just like seeing where your hands are, like, I don't know what Pablo's doing. I trust him, of course, but some people have issue with that, is like the only thing. Also, I still don't know if you're the right Uber or not. Peyton's definitely going off like you're the right Uber. Okay. And, all right, back to this one. So the Tavern Brawlers, very community-based team. They do a lot of online armories, which is how I got to know them in the first place. You know, they help with the stream a bit. Oh, it is you, Uber. Okay, awesome. Thanks for being here. You missed my commentary, unless you were here, over the entire Pablo game. Honestly, not saying I'm a caster anytime soon, but look, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. That was actually kind of fun. I enjoy this. I need more VODs now. Okay, but, you know, there are 2 sides to talk about. And this is definitely the kind of game where you have to pay a lot of attention to what Nitya is doing and what I'm doing, because this game is really tight. So this is a very fun one. I think most of you haven't seen it because it came from just a smaller event we were doing over the weekend, but it's a really good game. So just the background, right? So that's Invictus Forge. 3 of their best players from Malaysia challenged us. Nitya, of course, national champion, amazing person. Got to talk to her before the game. And just as a little note, I showed her my preview card because she is the Brute Queen, and I guess I'm a bit of the Brute King. So between our two minds, we try to decide how good this card was, because it is Brute playable, just unfortunately it's not a Shadow Brute card, sorry. And she dubbed it 7 to 8 out of 10, absolutely 3 of in Rhinar. And I said, probably a little bit lower on it, maybe like a 6 to 7, and probably a 2 of in Levia is where I'm thinking. But anyway, that's the most information you're going to get about it, but it was cool to pick her brain over the card. It was very fun. So anyway, we jump into the game here. I do win the die roll in this matchup, and I choose to go first, which is pretty big, because Rhinar is, of course, the deck where just a huge lead can be taken from the get-go. You know, they just draw a bunch of intims. Levia in particular can have a lot of non-blocks, where sometimes you just start, you know, like minus 10 life. It's probably not 10, but, you know, 5, 4, like all that's more reasonable. And in Levia, this game can definitely be a game of inches, depending on who sees more blood rushes. So you just never want to waste HP like that. Whenever there's a Levia player in a feature match, you should be the caster, but then again, you're the only Levia player. No. There have been 2 Levias featured ever, and I'm so glad it was the 2 of us. It was me at Nationals last year, and then it was Ian at the first Pro Tour. And if you know Ian Kendrling, he actually works for LSS, kind of. He's like a satellite employee. He does a lot of their catering, makes their coffee. He's a diehard Brute player, Brute and Rhinar, or Levia and Rhinar. But yeah, he was like 2-0 at the Pro Tour with my list. We met up the night before, traded notes, and yeah, he played my list and did a lot better than I did up until round 3. I went like freaking 0-7. Like, it was just the worst Pro Tour ever imaginable for me. I just played on tilt. I hated that meta, but by God, I wanted to have fun, and I absolutely did not. But he had a couple moments of fun. He was 2-0, but then he loses on stream and lost out the rest of the day. So yeah, Ian from New Zealand, Ian Kendrling. He goes by Right Time Gaming if he's hanging out in chat ever. But anyway, so those are the 2 Levias that have ever been on like main feature cam. And unfortunately, they're both losses. Because when I played that Nats game, it's an absolute shit show. My opponent doesn't know a single thing that I'm doing, and I just lose to Blood Debt. Just from like 15 hits in graveyard, 3 misses, hit 3 misses, lose. Like, it's the most Levia moment you've ever seen. It's horrible. But at least now we have the Pablo game out there. Now we have the Nitya game out there. So it's some redemption. Okay, so here we go. Into this matchup, I do win the die roll, and I go ahead. Wait, did they catch that first play? I hope they did. And I go ahead and just lead with a Wrecker Romp for 7. As a turn 0 play, it fills me with 2 cards in the graveyard. I don't expect to leak any damage because of it, but when you have 2 cards that are relatively decent for Arsenal, I had an Endless Maw and a Deadwood Rumbler yellow. Both of those are actually quite fine in your arsenal. So I go ahead, take the chance on Wrecker to discard one or the other, deal 7, get 2 cards in graveyard and arsenal, and I actually do get to keep the Endless Maw red, which is the better one. To be fair, it is the better one. Deadwood Rumbler would only be better if I didn't want to banish graveyard yet, but Rhinar is a deck that will trade. It's very, you know, like they need to trade. They can't just do nothing but defend out, because at least in Nitya's version, she's not running the full defense react suite, so they will need to play aggressive. And yeah, so the Endless Maw in Arsenal is pretty fun. What we're doing here is, unfortunately, she saw my hand because the freaking overhead camera, the other issue is I want to hold my hands like right above the arsenal. It's just what I do. However, she can see it. So that was what that whole back and forth was. She was, you know, trying to hide. Yeah, she comes in. The other issue, unfortunately, with this is that Nitya's camera angle is not very good at all. I think this was a pack hunt or something like that. Just something for 6 damage. The other problem with this match is the quality isn't great. Oh, what's up, Tinder? Nice to see you back. I swear to God, I have banned like 20 of these kind of channels. They always come back. She's running Scabskins, Gamblers, Crown, Tunic. I'm running Crown, Husk, Gamblers, Scabs. Yeah, Tinder, she's back. She wants to hook all you up. But please do it through any other mean other than clicking that link. It will ruin you. Okay, and of course, because it's Discord recording, there were just some issues. So we'll try to just get through this. Let me skip my thing DC'd for a second. Okay, so she just comes in for 6. And, oh, actually, remember, it was a CNC. And I was a little worried, because if she had on that 4-card hand a CNC pummel, then I lose the Endless Maw. But I'm never going to use Crown that early, because now that I know she runs CNC, I'd rather save CNC for when she has the Tunic up, because that's the more likely Tunic pummel turn. So I get a bit greedy with it. I only block 6, but she doesn't have the pummel, which is great. So I get to return with Endless Maw now. Holy moly. Yeah, there were some technical difficulties on this stream. This is going to take some manual fixing. Okay, here we go. So, back up a little bit. Back up, back up. So I come in for 9. What does she block? She blocks 6. She blocks 6. Takes 3. That's the best kind of grade. That's the best kind of trade, right? Because I traded 2 cards. She gave me 2 cards, and she still took 3 damage. That is just beautiful. It's the kind of thing Endless Maw opens up for you. Really, really good trade. She then keeps a 2-card hand, which is just a pack hunt. And you can kind of see the difference between a Rhinar and Levia now. Because I traded my 2 for 9. She's going to trade her 2 for 6. Issue being, though, this 6 has no other threat behind it. She doesn't have Tunic up, so it can't be a Tunic pummel play. There's no hit effect on the pack hunt. And this deck is actually built to use its full hand. So, yeah, she intims a card, but it doesn't really matter. Like now, I've got my first full 5-card hand that was really untouched. So what we lead here with is just, our biggest enabler possible. We're just going to lead with like a pulping. This can turn on our claws, of course. We're not going to need to worry about the interaction point with intims. That's the Rhinar mechanic. We're just going to deal damage. So this, we can skip through some of the dice rolling because it's a lot. I discard a Mark of the Beast, which is quite nice because there goes my blood debt for the turn. It's off, and now Gravelings are potentially triggered. Don't have to worry about it. And we come in for 6, and from what she sees, I didn't pitch a blue. There you go. Yep, take that away, Ethan. There you go. I didn't pitch a blue. So with 3 cards in hand, at most, she can really expect just another potential 9 damage is really what she should expect out of a 3-card hand like that if I didn't lead with a blue. Because what might end up happening is a claw plus a 6 is most likely out of a 3-card hand like this. Because if I had a blue for like a Dread Screamer Graveling play, I would have led with that. So she should assume I have about 9 damage left in the tank. That's still a lot for this kind of turn, because that's 15 damage out of 4 cards. I don't get an Arsenal reset, but these kind of above rate turns without Blood Rush are what really carries this kind of build to fruition. You just deal overwhelming damage without needing to worry about your Blood Rush spikes. So if you get a really shitty Blood Rush turn, it doesn't matter because you've been overwhelming throughout the board, even if it wasn't to the same degree as Blood Rush. So then we follow up here. It looks like I go ahead and try for at least 12 damage here and maybe an Arsenal reset, maybe a Claw Swing. It might depend a bit on what she does. But we get double pulping out of the way. And this is actually a bit worrisome because this deck doesn't have a huge ability to close. Like it doesn't have Dominate with Writhing. It doesn't have Dominate with Convulsions of the Bellows of Hell. I just need to go bigger than they can block. The only card that gets around that is the pulping. So losing pulpings like this early is a bit worrisome because now I don't get like a cheeky game end where I can potentially just, pulping, dominate, game's over. That's my worry when you start to see your pulpings a little bit too early, because that's always a good line, right? But it's okay. It was still 12 damage. We go ahead, reset our arsenal here, and move forward. Nitya looks like she kept a 3-card hand, so she ate 12 of that, but she leads with a Blood Rush discarding Beast Within. So this is like, fantastic. Fantastic on her end. She banishes a Reckless Swing and then a Wild Ride. That's pretty scary because the Wild Ride is, with her Tunic up, is a very good cost curve for her. Like if she draws another blue, that's quite easily Claw, Wild Ride. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And potentially even more if she's got like another Beast Within that she could maybe discard. Maybe she leads with the Wild Ride now because her arsenal's like a swing big. Like there's a lot that an extra go again piece in Rhinar unlocks. So that was a bit scary. She does banish a Reckless Swing first though. The thing to note about her deck is she runs 3 Reckless Swings. So I don't get the same security net of, oh, sweet, Reckless Swing is now gone. I don't need to worry about it. She does run 3. At least I assume she did based on her nationals list. She ran 3. So I definitely, wanted to respect Reckless Swing moving forward, even though one went away so quickly. Her taking only 2 damage is pretty normal for Rhinar. Normally a Beast Within is going to end up taking like 2 or 3. It's not like Levia where you pretty much just take 1 damage and add a 6. The Rhinar deck adds a lot more non-6s to the mix. But it is a big turn. She leads with Claw, which is a solid 10 damage. But I do decide to just eat it. I had a bit of a life buffer, so I'm not worried too much about taking the 10 here. The issue is, what is this last attack? As far as I know, it could be a Wild Ride. Wild Ride could be 8, which is where the Carrion Husk might be relevant and just making sure it gets full value, but it's actually a swing big. Good thing I remember this game because you really can't see it. But that is a swing big, and the swing big coming in for 10 is quite nice. With a Husk up, I go ahead and get the Quicken. It's really not so bad, even with the buffed effect from Blood Rush. I have the full equipment suite up. That's the kind of thing you want to save the equipment for in a Rhinar matchup, is either the CNC, they normally run maybe 2 of them, so you want to worry about that, and then you want to worry about swing big. And other than that, use your equipment just to play around Reckless life range. That's about it. So very happy with how this works out. The one issue point is with the Quicken, it does change what my play was, because that hand I had a Savage Feast in Arsenal, and I had a Art of War in hand, and I think she even intimed the Art of War away. And so the initial plan was going to be to go ahead and lead with the Art of War, like banish, go again, and get the Savage Feast with the Art of War, go again to lead into claws, yada yada yada. But because I just went ahead and got the Quicken, I decided to push for a potential better line where I tuck the Savage Feast back under the deck with Crown, draw a new hand, and use my Art of War for +1 instead. Now, I'm not quite sure why I did that, because Savage Feast is still quite fine to use on a +4 Art of War turn, but I think I was just trying something a little bit different. Like, maybe you tuck the Savage Feast and that new card you draw is something you'd rather banish, because you do turn a 4-card hand into a functional 5-card hand with Crown when you hit your Arsenal card. So that's kind of what we end up going for. Now this turn isn't anything too special in the end. I'm a bit resource light, if I remember correctly, but because I have the Quicken, I do get to squeeze a little bit more damage out of the Art of War. We say +1. We go ahead, pitch a yellow. Oh, okay, I vaguely remember. Yeah, this was definitely wrong. I had the Beast Within, so this really should have been a Savage Feast turn, but we just went for it anyway. I don't quite know the thought process there, because it is wrong. But we go ahead, banish this Wild Ride now, which is a bit sad because we're sacking a Source of Go Again just because we already have a Source of Go Again on the board. But Go Again is what ties the whole deck together. So we go ahead, get rid of that, draw R2. We say +1 since we're going to sack Quicken, but we don't have the most resources this turn to work with. And what we draw into is actually not that good there either. As you'll see when we pitch this out, I believe it is a Graveling Boneyard turn, something like that, because I'm actually just light on resources. I just didn't draw a resource card. So funny enough, the plays end up being pretty much the exact same, because Savage Feast would have been a 1 cost. All these end up being 1 cost anyway. So we come in with a Graveling for 7, go again. It's only a yellow. Could have been 8 if it was a red, but can't be too upset about it. Our damage numbers are good. What we're worried about is the fact that Nitya played through a Blood Rush, and when you get ahead in the Brute matchup on a power card, it draws you closer into the next one. So she's already seen a Blood Rush. She even trimmed a bit more with the Beast Within. So she's up on digging into her next power card. All we've done so far is draw 2 with the Art of War, and 2 draw discards. And she... Actually, that's about the same then, right? Because we both dug an extra 4 in. Her Beast Within plus Blood Rush. My Art of Wars and discards. So actually, we are the same. We are the same in how much we've dug. The difference now is she just saw her power card before I did, and every hand I draw up that I don't see a Blood Rush is going to be pretty... It's pretty sketch, because if she keeps drawing more damage than I do, then I'm going to be on the back foot to even keep a Blood Rush hand as the game goes on, because a Blood Rush hand needs to be at minimum 3 cards, but in Levia you don't want it to be only 3 cards because you need to also turn off Blood Debt. So you want an extra bit of insurance, you want an attack in Arsenal to turn off Blood Debt, you want a card in hand that could maybe, whether it discards or not, be the card that turns off Blood Debt. So it's a lot harder to go for just a 3-card Blood Rush unless it's a Beast Within, which, I mean, if you draw that sequence, definitely play for it, but you're not going to pretend that that happens. So we just have to go through all the motions with this stupid dice. And we go ahead. Yeah, there's no risk of not turning off Blood Debt in this scenario. It's been nothing but 6s. New spoiler just dropped from Fabrica. Okay, we'll check that out after. Or should we pause real quick? No, that'll interrupt it. Let's just get through the game. We'll just get through the game. No, damn it. Okay, we're gonna lose people if a new spoiler came out. So let me go ahead, pause. Official card reveals. Okay, here we go. All right. Brief interruption. We're going to get to look at Sergeant Aethertide. Man, they love saying Aether in every single wizard weapon. Once per turn, action. 2. Deal 1 arcane damage to opposing hero. Go again. Okay. The first card you play each turn with an arcane effect instead deals that much arcane plus X, where X is the damage dealt by Sergeant Aethertide this turn. Okay, have we actually seen ways yet to even buff the wizard weapons? Because I don't think one exists yet, right? Unless... what's the new one? Rousing does? The next card you play instead deals that much plus 3. Okay, so it's just a different way to get a +1 as of now. Just deal 2, or deal 1. If it deals the 1, then your next thing's +1. So it's 2 resources for maybe 2 damage. Dealt differently than something like the Aether Conduit would. That seems okay against the right deck that doesn't have a lot of AB, I guess. New spoiler. Good for sap. Is it good for sap? Oh, yeah. Okay, so here you go. Yeah, so actually, there you go. Good synergy with anything with Surge. Because now Surge has an extra way to get buffed. I mean, of course, the other one still works. The red one, Crucible of Aetherweave, still works just as well for 1 resource to also pump the Surge stuff. But yeah, I think against the right deck that doesn't run AB, this is probably fine. I don't know. It doesn't... Yeah, it's once per turn action, not an instant. So that's different as well. I don't know, I think like some light cards peppered in that actually will buff weapon damage could make this look more appealing, because it definitely has the downside of, well, if your opponent just soaks in the 1 AB, then this was just worse than Crucible of Aetherweave, and it cost 1 more. And it's an action, so it's already worse than that. So I don't know, there needs to be a bit more coming for this. And I don't know if this is a throne room card or not. I don't see the special dynasty border, the throne room. Can you pay 4 resources to deal 2 arcane? No, it's a once per turn action. Yeah. So, yep, you just pay 2. That's all you can do. You can't trigger this multiple times. Unless it, there was a way to get around that with something like you see in Warrior that says you can, attack with your weapon an extra time, or activate your weapon an extra time this turn. Wizard does not have that. They show the Marvel in the video? Okay, cool. Well, it's alright. We've got our own video to look at now. It is no Rock. This is true. Rock is pretty untouchable. It is in a different tier of its own. It's at the top of the totem pole. Okay, we get back to this game. Yep, so it was a Graveling Boneyard turn, like I thought it was, if I remembered correctly. Now, it only comes in for 14, just because it was a yellow Graveling. I mean, we still don't mind getting the bit of extra damage push. We could have dealt 1 more if it was a red Graveling. I would have been interested to know the damage difference if I'd kept the Savage Feast and gone for that route instead. It would have been interesting. I guess it really depends what the first card we drew in this hand was, if that was an extra blue or something, because that'd be the difference in the amount of cards we draw. No, it actually I would have drawn the same. Okay, so never mind. The resource curve would have been the exact same on Savage Feast, because Beast Within would draw 1, Savage Feast would draw 1. And we just drew 2 off Art of War. So as far as damage goes, it would have been the exact same turn, pretty much. So that's fine. Just 14 damage. Can't be too mad about it. Then Nitya came in on her turn with just 6 damage. And we went at... So track this life, by the way, not the life down here. This is the issue with the Discord stuff. It's all disjointed. But I block with a Swing Big because we actually have a super beautiful hand. We've got that juicy Dread Screamer into Graveling Growl, which you really can't hate, especially because in this turn cycle, Nitya just attacked me for 6, which was a bad rate hand, and I still protected 3 life, which is a good rate defense, and then I come in with a 3-card hand for 13 damage, which is an insane rate. It's like 3.3 damage per card, basically. We get a bit of extra graveyard fill out of it, right? Because we get to now dump in the Graveling and Dread, so it's good graveyard fill turn as well. And the damage trade is already in my favor this turn cycle. She passed into me at 21, she's at 20, so this is a huge tempo gain. Huge tempo gain for me. I don't get to Arsenal. I decide not to Arsenal the Swing Big, because I have something else I'd rather go for. I don't remember what that arsenal card is, but yeah, that was the choice. It was something better than the swing big. We'll find out soon enough. It might have been a draw discard card, so my hand was forced anyway, just because it was a non-block. But yeah, so this is a big turn coming into her. What we're still worried about, of course, is the fact that if we start to fumble a little bit, if she can find her blood rushes soon, if she can find them quickly, then I will actually be under threat to play off small hands before she is, and Levia's small hands are pretty much just Endless Maw, which is good. That is a good one. But when you start to add Intimidates into what Nitya can maybe do to me, when you start to add Reckless into the mix of what she can do to me, it does get very worrisome. So we do want to just continually be ahead on damage. It's pretty simple. That's all you want to do in this matchup. But we've already lost Husk, so now that the life is even, I don't get another really free pivot. I don't get another easy just, all right, equipment, pivot turn. But she goes ahead and defends with her full hand, almost. She leaves one left. So the damage trade still goes a bit in my favor. I get a new arsenal here. She's keeping a 1-card hand and arsenal, so ideally, if she wants the most damage, it's something like a swing big, which is exactly what it is. Yep, so it's her best rate 2-card hand, which doesn't quite match what we can do, right? We have Endless Maw. But she comes in for 8, and these cards, these type of plays are really scary still, because if she can just push best rate each turn, I will be in trouble. Best rate each turn. If we both can do that as brutes, but I just don't find the big stuff, then it's actually a pretty even game. So without equipment set up, or without equipment left here, I do not really get the easy choice to get a quicken out of this, because my Scabskin's already blocked 1, so there's no more 2 block left in my equipment to just say, okay, block 2 from hand, Scabs, get the quicken, which can be pretty big for Levia. So I do end up taking 2 here. Now my hand returns, it's a 2-card hand, so it's probably an Endless Maw. Let's see what I do. Oh, no. It's a Doomsday. Oh, I forgot about this. Yes, this was actually a really spicy moment in the game. I do get a 2-card hand with Doomsday, so it's not the most damage a 2-card hand can deal, but it is very sticky, and it's the kind of high-value card that Reinhardt can't let exist. Reinhardt really cannot let this card exist. Reinhardt in particular, because this is just a value trade type of matchup, and Blasphemfett is the epitome of sticky value. He is a free way to deal 6 and turn off Blood Debt. He can get even bigger than that whenever you have any source of go again. Then it's just, a free 6 on the back of anything else you're doing that turn. So the unfortunate part is Nitya's hand is a Blood Rush again. And she's even got Tunic at 3. So it's quite scary again, because now she's built into a Blood Rush, and the thing about these Blood Rush pushes is if they're backed up by even more Intimidates, I really might not get to control the way I want to handle my life. I could get stuck with non-blocks left in hand. The game can accelerate to a Reckless Swing type scenario way quicker than I want it to. So this was definitely scary. She plays another Blood Rush. She has a 3-card hand. She has 2 floating and Tunic up. It's most likely 18 damage minimum. There's probably 1 more Intimidate coming in this type of turn as well. The problem with her spot is the Mandible Claws do not kill Blasphemfett, and that's huge. If the Mandible Claws dealt 6, if she had triggered Skull Crushers or something, which neither of us ran it. We actually both kind of played a game of chicken with Gambler's Gloves. Neither of us rolled them in this matchup, but we had to take them just in case the other person high rolled it, So now she's in a tough spot, because if she wants to kill Blasphemfett, she either has to sack 2 claws into it, which feels terrible, or she has to sack her last attack into it, which probably deals at minimum 8, which also feels pretty bad. Now, if she attacks my life directly, then I will probably block 9 of it, if I can. I will block 9 damage, and then return with a 2-card hand of Blasphemfett plus this card I banished to turn off Blood Debt. So she'll deal 18, I'll take 9, I'll go to 10, but I will stick this 6 attack body on the board, swing 6, turn off Blood Debt off of 1. That's a 15 damage turn cycle out of me, which is darn near Blood Rush value. If I can get that value out of a turn cycle, 15 damage basically, a Blood Rush is dealing 18, but the fact that Blasphemfett sticks and I can kind of do this again and again potentially, it's a pretty big deal. So she's in a tough spot. She's in a tough spot on deciding to kill Blasphemfett, but we do see, of course, the claws go face. That's the more damage scenario. Is claws will just attack me, deal 10. It's a lot of damage. It is a lot of damage. But then this last attack, we're still not sure about. I don't know if she's going to swing at Blasphemfet. I don't know if she's going to swing at face. But I'm saving my cards in hand to go ahead and block my life on this last swing. In a way, it's a bit of a misplay. If I really assume she's going face, then keeping all those cards in hand is actually not entirely correct. I probably should have blocked on the claws instead, so that the Intim didn't screw me in my ability to block 3, because sure enough, there was an Intim with Savage Swing coming at the end there. So, but I do hedge my bets that she will kill Blasphemfet, because she's been talking a lot through that turn, and just saying, oh my god, like, I have to kill Blasmo, I know the matchup, this is so dangerous, blah, blah, blah. So, I did kind of go that route, that's what she would do. So, if she didn't, though, then I definitely blocked pretty poorly that turn, I think. Now, the other issue with this hand is it actually doesn't turn off Blood Debt. I have a Pulping in Arsenal, I'm pretty sure is what I had there. But then my hand is like Soul Harvest, Riled Up, Reckless Swing, and like something else, right? So I could turn off Blood Debt with Soul Harvest. That's my only guaranteed way to do it. Or I could swing with Pulping, try to draw a way to turn off Blood Debt, and then hopefully not discard it either. Now that is incredibly hopeful. That is incredibly hopeful. So I decided to not go that greedy route. I'd really hoped that Blasphemfet would stick on the board so I could go Pulping, Claw, Blasphemfet, Swing, turn off Blood Debt. That would have been like the most insane play. That's not what she lets me do. So instead, we're very inefficient about it. We pitch a yellow, and a blue to play Soul Harvest for 12. We do play it for 12. It is max value there. So it still doesn't end up being a great value hand. It's a 4-card hand for 12, which is 3 damage per card. Not great. It's not what you want to see in this matchup. But to be fair, it's in theory lethal. It's in theory lethal. She can't just block with the armor, because then my Reckless Swing could kill her. So it does actually present a must-block scenario from her. And that's really all we want to bring up at this point. 12 is fine. We can't sweat it too much. It's inefficient. Whatever. Is this game 1 versus Brute Queen? We only played 1 game. It was a best of 3 as the entire team. So I played against Nitya, someone else played against someone else played against someone else. So we just played a best of 1 here. But yes, going over, showing off this game. I think most people haven't seen it. But we went over the Pablo game first. And that was just an absolute massacre. But still actually a lot to be learned from that commentary. So if you didn't go back and watch that, it is a pretty good POV from the Levia's perspective. Because even though that game looked super stompy, it actually wasn't. From my perspective, that's not how it felt the entire way through, because you don't bet on Beast Within's hitting. You do have to be smarter than that and just not hope that that's what happens in the game. But that is what happened in the game, so it ended up being pretty easy. I wonder if Aether Tide is supposed to be the staff Iyslander uses in her art. That's interesting. I mean, she does have Aether Ice Vein as her like signature weapon, or not Aether Ice Vein. The Kraken's Aether Vein. She legitimately has that as like her signature weapon. Maybe they switch it. I don't know if they will or not, but this does look very icy, right? Okay. So she's still deciding on blocks here because it is a tough spot. It is a must block type scenario. So as far as Brute hands scale, if she blocks with 1 card, Reinar's best 3-card hand is probably like Alpha Rampage for 9, right? With double Intim. That's a pretty decent 3-card hand, especially considering I'm at 9. So I feel like if she had that, she would snap play it. So instead, she's trying to scale down her hand a bit differently. And normally that means there's a 2-card hand play that's live. A 2-card hand play normally deals 6. Now, she does have Tunic up, so a 2-card hand play could be Pulping plus a blue, and then into Mandible Claw, so that could be 9. But I pretty much early on here assume she's not keeping a 9 damage hand. It doesn't quite look like that with the way she's blocking, and that feels really good for my end. Because I really don't want to let her keep a Blood Rush hand either. And from this scenario, if I can deal at least enough damage to get her down to not keep a Blood Rush hand ever again, I feel pretty good. I still have not been able to play a Blood Rush. I doubt I will be able to play a Blood Rush for the rest of the game with the way that life is lining up. But that's all that needs to happen from here on out, basically. That's all that needs to happen from here on out. I just can't let her play another Blood Rush because it will seal the game. So I go ahead and deal an extra 6. That feels pretty good for me, like I mentioned. But then she keeps a 2-card hand. I'm now assuming it's 6 damage. That's a pretty good trade for me, because for the most part, I should be comfortable blocking 6 if I really have to every turn cycle. And she does swing in with a Cadaverous Contraband here. Now, this is kind of a strange one, because I just put her in that scenario where she no longer gets to keep a Blood Rush hand, right? So even if I let this hit and she puts a Blood Rush on top, it's pretty much just a block 3 because there's no way she gets to keep a 3-card hand. Like, that just won't happen with the way my deck is built. So it doesn't become that much of a must-block type of card in this scenario, which is quite nice. That lined up really well for me. So I'm thinking about it. I could block down with 2, but the other thing I consider... Oh, someone joined the league. Thank you, Brian. The other thing I'm considering is if I let this hit, it adds to her inclination to add something. I don't know if it's a must, actually. I guess I don't know. I think it's a you may. Let me look it up. But Cadaverous... You may put. Okay, so she doesn't have to do it. But the one thing I'm thinking about is if I actually let this hit and she puts a card on top of her deck, that dilutes her chance to draw into Reckless Swing. So that was something I start considering, because maybe I actually go to Reckless Swing range and maybe she trips up, goes ahead and puts something on top, and that separates her 1 card further from drawing into a Reckless. That would be nice. So I'm considering a couple things on this turn. But pretty much guaranteed, I just need to be able to present 14 damage is what I'm trying to do. Because if she blocks only with 1... Or no, I need to present 13 damage. Because she... No, I need to present 12 damage. Because she's at no blocks left on scabs. So, as long as I can present 12, she must block with a single card. Or no, I'm trying to present 13. Yeah, I'm trying to present 13. Because I need her to block with 2 cards, not just 1 card. Because I need her turn to not be Blood Rush. So that's the priority number 1 in how I'm trying to decide on this block. I go ahead and chump 1 card blocking. I just don't need it. What card did I block with? Hold on, I missed that. Oh wait, you know what it is? They have the life reversed here. I'm at 9, she's at 7. Okay, so I just did that whole commentary wrong. She's at 7, I'm at 9. So I can actually freely take the whole damage and go to 3, which is not Reckless Swing range. So that's another line I wasn't even considering. But yeah, you can see it. She's at 7, I'm at 3. So these were wrong. These are wrong. Good job, casters. Jeez. Anyway, so we go into my turn. It's a full 5-card hand now. And I have this go again. So now the math is different. She's at 7. I need her to not keep 3 cards, right? She's got 1 block left, so she's effectively at 8 life. So I need to be able to deal basically 12. If I can deal 12, she must block with 2 cards. Now, 12 is really easy for this deck. It's the deck's bread and butter. And I already started with a Wild Ride, so it's looking really good for me. I also need to turn off Blood Debt. So I'm pretty sure I had like a couple ways in hand to do that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone with Wild Ride. I would have had to play it safe and just play the only way to turn off Blood Debt. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that must be what the hand is. So anyway, yeah, feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. We know that we'll have enough damage this turn. We just need to now start hitting her hand pretty heavily and try to trap her on 2-card hands, and we will win. Even though we took the first big hit to 3, it's not Reckless range. And that's what's important from here on out. It's not Reckless range. So she's deciding on blocks, and this, I mean, she knows. She absolutely knows there is more coming from this turn. I have 3 cards in hand, 1 floating. It's never going to just be 6 damage here. So she decides to go ahead, block 3, takes 3, down to 4. You can see on this life. This life is not correct. Now the choice becomes what the next attack is. I think I only attack with 1 other card because I'd rather go for Arsenal here, is I think the play I decide to make. I'm pretty sure my Arsenal here is... My hand is like Hungering, Wild Ride, Pulping, is I'm pretty sure what the hand was. And I'm deciding whether or not to... Arsenal the Pulping, or not the Pulping. Yeah, the Pulping or the Wild Ride. And in this scenario is actually pretty straightforward. I should have known it from the get-go. You do Arsenal the Pulping here, because if she goes low enough to be at Reckless range, then the game's probably locked anyway. But if she goes to even just 3, then I can win through the Pulping hitting Dominate. So the Pulping is just better to Arsenal here over the Wild Ride. So that should have always been like a snap play, honestly. But there we go. We still come in for 6 now. It's not a red Hungering, it's just the yellow, but 12 is the number we needed to hit. So we are pretty happy with that turn. And Blood Debt's off. And Blood Debt is off. So we already saw her block with 1. If she blocks with 1 more card, she goes to 1, which is then Reckless range. What she doesn't know, though, is that I already pitched my Reckless. I only run 1 Reckless. So I actually don't think my Reckless is going to be what ends the game. I need to end it in other means. So she doesn't know that. She doesn't know how many Reckless I run, because I don't think she'd seen previously like the way I build my lists. But I've seen hers, and I knew she ran 3. So I'm always under threat of that. So she decides on block. She goes ahead and gives me a card. And this is pretty nice too, because I already see barraging. So there was a chance that she could have just intimed and won the game on that kind of hand. It could have been like barraging, Tunic, Savage, Swing or whatever, intim, and I just die. So I'm really happy to see those gone. But what I'm not happy about is, holy crap, I forgot this line existed out of her. She used Tunic for Blood Rush, discarding Alpha Rampage, drawing 2. This is pretty scary. It is definitely pretty scary. I now get intimed. I now am potentially under the threat of either 10 or 8 damage, is what I assume is going to happen. 10 or 8 damage. But this is also her 3rd Blood Rush. She has now played all 3 Blood Rushes. All 3 Blood Rushes. So I'm terrified, because I kind of at this point am conceding, oh boy. Like, I guess this was just a brute game. I don't really get to win. But she drew double red. And all of a sudden, I have a chance. She drew double red, so her turn is just Claw. Now, to be fair, she needed to draw a blue plus anything else to make it double Claw Swing. She needed to draw a yellow plus any 2 cost to make it 8. I guess it could have, in theory, even been a Swing Big. So this is worst case draw on her end, is just double red. But hey, I'm not going to complain too much about it. She saw 3 Blood Rushes. I've seen 0, so there needs to be some equality here. There does need to be some equality. Oh man, I didn't even notice. My head is like in the way of a bunch of her equipment. Oh, that's rough. Sorry for viewers, but you should still see most of it. But yeah, anyway, so she comes in for 5, but I know that's the end of her turn. So my choice here is either block with 1 and Scabs to not die, but I do go to Reckless range, and then I can go for Dread Screamer into Pulping. That's one option. Or I can just completely risk the game on Pulping hitting the Dominate. Because right now I have a 6 in hand and a non-6. And so if I just play the Pulping right now, I don't need to worry about Blood Debt, and I'll just win. So I decide to rather leave my chances up to Pulping, because my deck is built in a way where it should hit, instead of me keeping a larger hand to potentially die to her Reckless, because her deck is also built to make Reckless live in situations like this. She runs 3 of them. So I actually don't know if she had Reckless in this hand or not. I don't think she did. But there we go. I do decide to leave the game up to my deck rather than her deck by blocking that way. And I do win. But that game, way tighter than the Pablo game. But it's because I didn't see Blood Rush. Like, there they are, right? I'm checking. Next hand. But there we go. That was the game versus Nitya. I thought that one was more exciting. I guess viewership-wise, it wasn't that great. I apologize. My head was in the way. But it was really cool to play her. It was very cool to play against her in a very strange game. I think most of the time, if you tell someone that one brute played 3 Blood Rush and the other brute played 0 Blood Rush, and you ask them who won, they're going to say, well, obviously the brute that played 3 Blood Rush. Like, no question. Like, literally obvious. But turns out Levia has some other power cards, like Husk, like Doomsday, like the Dread Screamer turn, that were all pretty insane in actually showing that up to be a victory for Levia, even with 0 Blood Rush played. So I thought that was pretty good. It's a pretty good win. And that is how my Saturday went. I woke up, played that game at like 8 a.m. And then I played against, or I didn't play against Pablo, but the game got broadcast. And I thought that was pretty great. It was just a day of nothing but really, really great games, some nice wins. Felt pretty good, you know, for the channel, for the League of Levia community. I feel like there's a lot of Levias now on Talishar. I say that, and of course there's only like one Levia playing right now. But I keep seeing posts in the League of Levia Discord where people are like, oh man, like I just got trounced by Levia. Yo, shout out to like this Levia, absolutely dumpster to me. I feel like she's picking up a bit more traction. And yet I'm looking now at the spectate list and there are only, what, is it just one? There's only one Levia and it's a Blitz game. But there we go. That was, those were the POVs, the VODs from the weekend. PK Sam says, very interesting, thanks for the lesson. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty interesting game. It was way more high stress, but we just played for the right math on each turn to try to give ourselves the best spot to win. And in the end, it actually came down to just brute stuff winning the game for us. If she drew any way to deal 8 or 10, then we would have been left in a situation where it was reckless or die. It wouldn't have been lethal in any kind of draw scenario on that last turn, but her drawing double red definitely made it really, really good for us. Just brute stuff, you know. I might pick up Levia. She has some really powerful turns that Reinhardt can't replicate. Yeah, he just doesn't. He just does not. The closest turns Reinhardt can get to like Levia damage is if he rolls scabs and then pop off with Savage Feast, Beast Within. Otherwise, his blood rushes are very similar to like our blood rushes, but the in-between turns are nowhere close. The in-between turns are way better for Levia, other than like Savage Feast, Beast Within, Scabs rolls type stuff. But you're gaining respect for Our Lady. Yeah, I would hope so, because we've actually got... Oh, this is actually Control Levia. Nice. I just talked about this deck performing on the last stream, and I shared the list on Discord, and people have been playing it. And here we go. Looks pretty good. Looks like they're doing well with it. Yeah, we've actually got that game against Tarek coming up in, at this point, 2.5 hours. If I beat Tarek, all of a sudden, the two of the three of like the best player in the world conversation people will be under the shoe of Levia. We'll have taken down Pablo, we'll have taken down Tarek, and then maybe I beat Michael Hamilton in the finals. How insane would that be? Then Levia would quite literally have just eaten her way through like the top 3 best players in the world. That'd be pretty funny. Yeah, so no breaks. I don't get an easy matchup next round. But I am actually pretty glad that it's a Phi matchup. I should be pretty well positioned to play into Phi. If they high roll, they high roll. That's just going to happen. But as far as math goes, how our decks trade, I have Iron Rot, I've got the That All You Gots, which are specifically to tech against... I've got the Deadwood Rumblers, which are specifically to tech against Phi. And Phi can't really tech specifically against Levia. So there should be a bit of an edge for me. I've practiced the matchup a lot, feel really good about it. What's happening here? I just clicked on it because I wasn't ready to jump into a game. What's the issue with Levi's weapon and why don't you play it? Well, X score is pretty bad. Ravenous Meat Axe, pretty bad. Reason being, neither one of those weapons gives you damage out of the norm of what your deck can do anyway. Like, what Ravenous Meat Axe is doing is trying to make a 1-card hand deal 5, which can be pretty big, but the way you'll average out how many times you swing Ravenous Meat Axe, let's say you swing Ravenous Meat Axe like twice early game and maybe like twice off the back of like an Art of War turn or something, you will probably deal 5-5, 3-3. I mean, you would hope you deal 5-5-5, but you probably don't. You do get a 3 or 2 in there. And the other issue is it's a random discard, so you don't get to control the card that you now want to arsenal for your turn. And so Ravenous Meat Axe really hurts Levia's play pattern of have a really good turn, arsenal your next combo card in arsenal to then keep the weaving in and out of your big power turns going. Ravenous Meat Axe will just interrupt that. Because of the random discard being the last thing you do on the turn, you just don't know what you get to arsenal. And so, yeah, you get a little bit more power on this swing, but you lose a lot of power potentially as well, and you don't even guaranteed get the power. You might just be a 3 damage weapon. So this card's just not good. The problem with Hexagore then is it also only gives you one cost curve that is really above rate compared to what Levia normally does. And that cost curve is Shadow Puppetry plus Boneyard Marauder plus blue, and Hexagore is a 13 damage 3-card hand, which is exactly what Dread Screamer Graveling can do. So you already have a 3-card hand in the deck that can do that, 13 damage off 3. And then Hexagore just gives you one more line to have a 13 damage hand, for 3. So it's not anything new. The deck can already do it. But then the issue is Hexagore is very unplayable early game as well. The detriment is just way too high. You don't want to swing with this because you definitely don't want to take damage from it, unless maybe you're at like 5 blood debt, taking like 1 or 2 is okay. So you just don't have a weapon for the early part of the game. And even in late game, the times you swing with this weapon are pretty much on that cost curve with the Boneyard, like I mentioned. You can use it on like a Dread Screamer turn, but the issue there is it's not necessarily a good cost curve for you. You can force it. You can, pitch for Dread, pitch again for Hexagore, and that's a 12 damage turn for 3 cards, which is okay. That's okay. You can push it a little bit further if you have a Howl from Beyond banished, and this is when it actually becomes a good weapon, is quite literally this playline, is you play a Howl from Beyond off of a blue, you pitch another blue for Dread Screamer, now it comes in for 9 go again, you have 2 floating, you come in for Hexagore now, it's a 15 damage, 3-card hand. That one in particular is insane, but that's pretty much the ceiling of what a Hexagore turn is going to do for you. The difference then, by playing Mandible Claws instead, is Mandible Claw lets you play very aggressive as soon as you see Blood Rush, as soon as you see Wild Ride, as soon as you see Pulping. You all of a sudden can just churn out really oppressive damage with Levia. And Levia fits the Blood Rush curve amazingly. She has 2 cards that are insane next to Blood Rush. First and foremost, there's Boneyard Marauder. You get to pitch 2 blues for Claw, Claw, Boneyard for 18. So you're trading basically 3 cards, the Blood Rush and 2 blues, for Mandible Claw. Mandible Claw, Boneyard, 18 damage. And you get an extra card to reset an arsenal. Like, that's insane. That is such an insane rate. The other one is Endless Maw, where you get to, you don't get the reset in arsenal, because you'll have to pitch a bit more for it, but you get to Claw, Claw, Endless Maw for now 21. And all you need for that is 2 blues and a yellow and the Endless Maw. So as soon as you put an Endless Maw or a Boneyard Marauder in arsenal, the Blood Rush just becomes huge damage. Just massive damage. Like, way higher than what a Hexagore turn is going to pull out for you. And on top of that, these are just more usable next to the Pulpings and Wild Rides for smaller hands that can still go wide. It's just better. It's just way better. Just way better. I just wish you could play Hexagore like Club. It'd be the best mid-range weapon in the game. I mean, that would just be kind of a boring ball of stats. You need to actually turn off Blood Debt, right? So you can't just swing Hexagore off 1 card. That would just not fit what she's doing. You'd always need to add something else in to turn off Blood Debt. And we just don't have that. There isn't that easy weapon buff that turns off Blood Debt to make Hexagore viable. But even then, it's something I think they were a little too careful about, because it would be really easy to just fall back on a play pattern of like, I'll just run 9 Unworldly Bellows because they buff your Hexagore and swing in. I think that's what they were too scared of doing. I could see that being quite good. I do like this card, but it doesn't buff Hexagore, so Hexagore is lacking that 2-card hand type of play. Like, if they re-release Unworldly Bellow to say +3, +2, +1, and it buffs Hexagore, that's pretty good, but it's also not as insanely oppressive, where you maybe end up running just 9 and try to go for that play pattern, because you can already get a 2-card hand for 9 with Levia in Endless Maw, because that's what would be happening, is Unworldly would give +3 and hit your Hexagore for a 2-card hand for 9. You can already do that with Endless Maw, so it wouldn't just be like mathematically best to force this type of playstyle with Hexagore. It'd still keep options open. So I could see that happening in the future, but you'll always need more cards to swing Hexagore. You have to turn off Blood Debt. If you didn't, then it would just be pretty dumb. Like, having 6 attack on a weapon, you just get to keep 1 card swing 6. Like, that's just dumb. That's just not cool. Not a lot of interaction with that. Hi Sant, what's up Josh? Thanks for the breakdown. This kind of content that keeps you coming back. Awesome. Hey, well, if you're back enough, you might as well join the channel. You get some emotes. Check these out. Get some emotes under your name. Drop them when you see a good play. Drop them when there's a bit of Mansalt coming up, which definitely, can happen. All right, let's go ahead and play a game. Play a game or so. After all that Levia, it is definitely worth playing another Levia game. In fact, you know what? Let me do this. Competitive CC. We are gonna do this. We'll ask for Fi here. That's every time I play a Runeblade. Oh yeah, I see a Viserai, it's instant Mansalt, which is kind of funny because Pablo was on Viserai, which is like my instant tilt matchup. But it was Pablo, so I couldn't let it happen. Oh, see you, Sam. Thanks for tuning in. I keep coming back just to see the rock. One day we'll get back to it. But right now, It almost is like boogie time, you know? Got to start locking in all my actual practice for Worlds and stuff. Because coming up this weekend, we've got the Ohio 10K. We've got the, what's it called? Ohio Battle Hardened. No, stop cat. This weekend we have this Battle Hardened coming up. I will be there. Oh, it actually starts Friday. What's happening on the Friday of? I thought it was Saturday, Sunday. I might have to leave early then. Oh, hi. Do this. And we go second in this matchup. Funny enough. Sometimes you really get screwed by going second, but from what I've practiced, like, it really is correct. Because the Fi will always try to attack you turn 1, because there is just such a high chance they leak damage. But even if you leak damage, it means you fill the graveyard, and then you get to swing back pretty strong. I'm gonna play Clash tomorrow on my LGS. Looking forward to see how that goes. Awesome! Let me know how it goes. Let me know in the Clash channel on the Discord. Got some good feedback. Maybe Hex score would be better if its ceiling was 7. It'd still be balanced. I can see that. Like, at 6, it's nothing crazy. At 6, it feels okay. But it's not like this super unique identity of like, oh my god, a weapon deals 6. Sludge already does that. Anothos already does that. But now, Rock already deals 7. So I don't know, maybe Hex score dealing 7. No, that's nothing special anymore. Good game on Sunday. Thank you, Alec. I love Clash. That's good to hear, Josh. Thanks. I'll be going to the Philly Battle Hardened. It'll be my first big tournament since MTG Grinder Days with SEG Opens and such from around 2014. Awesome. Dude, these SEG cons are so fun. I really highly enjoy them. They are well run. The judge staff tends to travel around. So you'll start to recognize like a lot of the same faces. Some of the players do travel around. What's the sideboard for Fi? Take out Art of Wars, put in That All You Gots, and run Iron Rock Gauntlet. That's about it. That's about it. Posted my Oldhim deck there, so hoping it works out. Oh, thank you, Riku. Alright, so even if he doesn't swing, we're very okay with this hand. I mean, if he does swing, this hand's nuts. If he doesn't, this hand is still nuts. Because if he doesn't, we at least would get to swing big and Arsenal and Endless Maw. I love Clash, but I don't know where to ask for a game. You can set one up on Talishar and then just in the description, excuse me, my god, in the description just ask for a Clash game. That should work. I played a tournament and then nobody wanted to play. You played a tournament? What does that mean? You played in a tournament or you hosted a tournament? I mean, the thing about Clash is there's no content out for it yet because like all the people in the main event couldn't play till after Worlds. So that'll actually kick up after Worlds, which will, to be fair, be a really good time for Clash because you get to run majestic weapons. And we are already seeing a lot of majestic weapons coming out of Dynasty. So it'll be awesome. Like, deck building will be way more varied. It already is really fun in Clash, but just seeing what Dynasty's bringing is going to be sick. Do you have a Reinar CC list? No, I don't play Reinar. He's bad. He's just a worse Levia. I'm not trying to throw shade on my Reinar fans, but like, just play Levia, dude. You want to win through intims? Just play Control Levia. You want to win through damage? Just play normal Levia. You want to do something truly unique? Play Recursion Levia. You can play it in all kinds of different ways. Oh man. This dude is taking his time. Lag check. What happened here? Lag check. Oh, okay. It was doing that thing where it freezes if you don't type. Oh, Jesus. Is it just me? I don't know. He seems to also be freezing. Oh, I'm muted? Nope, I'm not muted. I just didn't say anything. It's you. Yes, that's right. That's right, it's you. Okay, so it's likely he just arsenals this last card, so do we actually care about keeping these so we specifically on purpose get a really good turn 0 and arsenal out of it? Because Endless Bond Arsenal in this matchup is just insane. And Swing Big is just guaranteed 8. Nah. We'll protect the little bit of extra HP. I think it's fine. The other thing is if we get rid of it, we draw closer into like a Blood Rush potentially. Always cool. Hey, that's always a good line. Alright, my opponent is awfully slow, but I don't super mind because I genuinely like want to play this matchup. Just because we can all pretend this is just me versus Tarek. We can just pretend, right? It's at least good practice. Why not? Oh, nice. We drew our Deadwood. So this has a fantastic interaction with the Phoenix Flame. Let's see. Both of these are fine in Arsenal. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the interaction, right? And it's actually really, even if the Fine knows about the interaction, it's still really rough for them because they have to decide before they see what the Deadwood draws whether or not they want to react with Phoenix Flame. Because the Phoenix Flame ad is on, the banish is on resolution of this card effect. So they don't actually get to see whether you draw, discard, and hit. They have to decide first. So it's tough because they have to trade an entire blue for a Phoenix Flame, and then you can just say, okay, I'll banish something else. It's no biggie. But this interaction is insane. Very nice. Very nice. And it's likely we hit it because we run the Dead Rumbler, we run the blues, of course. This is the other reason to go second instead of first and defy, because if you go first and throw this, they definitely just add a Phoenix Flame. It's not the biggest loss for them. But if you go second and do this, they are sacking an entire card for just a 0 or 1 damage card. So it's not the most damage out of us, but this will save us a ton. And then we're going to slap the Swing Big in Arsenal, just because we don't have Blood Debt yet. Oh, baby. All right, we are really not trying to block with this hand. This is sick. We now have a Rouse, Swing Big turn. Rouse, Swing Big turn. So we likely block with equipment to interrupt Mass Trigger, but that's all we do. That is all we do. If we're forced to block, we can still swing 8, but the potential to turn these 5 cards into 17 damage, or not 17, 15 damage. It's pretty strong. And we'd still get to Arsenal the Graveling. Like, that's pretty darn good. Okay, so it's turning 4 cards into 15 is what it would really be. Yeah, so we stay on course. We stay on course. All right, now we do block. We don't want to give him Mask. If he pumps this, I mean, it's a bit of a punish, but at the same time, our hand really is that good. The other benefit here, what you see with the Iron Rot Gauntlet... Oh yeah, that's fine. If he snaps here, it's not the biggest deal. What you see with the Iron Rot Gauntlet is the fact that it now goes to the graveyard, and when you look at the graveyard in this type of deck, it tends to be super 6 heavy. So the extra padding of a non-6, really not a big deal. Alright, this is a very low value snatch play. He doesn't even know if this is playable. I don't know. That was super greedy out of him. Super greedy. He plays a Lava Burst. Okay, that's also fine. Cool. Alright, so he used snaps for 5 damage, basically. That's not a big deal. We don't even have Blood Debt yet, so this type of turn could really not get better. We're going to come in for 7, we're going to come in for 8, we're going to Arsenal Graveling. We haven't even seen a Dread Screamer yet, but of course, once we see a Dread Screamer blue, this turn is nuts. This turn that we're going to build up for. The one thing to note about Graveling Growls in Arsenal in this build, though, is, or against Fi, is you do side out the Art of Wars, so you need to be careful. You don't want to just always throw in a Graveling Growl in Arsenal. It's not that good. Because the only time it's really live in this matchup is going to be next to the Dread Screamer. But because we've played 0, and we've also seen 0, and we went ahead and dug an extra 4 cards on our turn 1, or 3 cards rather, it is still worth it. It is still worth it. And he drew a clunky hand. I love it when this happens to Fi. They draw like too many 1 costs next to no blue or something. It's the one consistency hiccup that the deck can have. But when it happens, it's a big deal for us. So we're a bit behind on the damage because of that turn, but you got to remember he used his Snapdragons on it, and we still got ahead on the Phoenix Flame Banish. So we saved an extra 2 life that turn, because otherwise this would have been free and Shuko would have triggered for 2 damage. So even though life is how it is right now, we should feel really good about our spot. And he also just blocked with 2 very high value cards. These are some of the tougher ones to block out because they're 4s. In fact, Mounting Anger alone is like one of the main reasons to play Iron Rot. Otherwise, blocking the 4 only really gets to happen twice per game when you block 4 with both of these and then once with the Scabs. Oh, he played a Minnowism out of Arsenal. Oh, yikes. Okay, I want to get insanely greedy here. I'm not going to, but getting insanely greedy here would be really funny. Where we get to just Reckless Swing, hopefully discard Graveling Growl, return 6. That is unfortunately never right. So we will just do this. Our turn is very weak here, but he also did basically nothing. He pretty much did nothing. He spent a card out of Arsenal because he shouldn't have gone greedy on the Snaps play. And we returned 6. It's not great. This is gonna be a bit rough for us. Losing a bit of pressure here. But once again, we just sacked an entire hand. We're drawing another 4 closer to our big power cards. Alright, they take the 6 here. It's not the biggest deal. Okay, that's interesting. I swear, this always happens with Levia. You even saw it in the Pablo game. Like, what's with drawing 3s? Like, that always happens with Levia. There's always, like, a certain card that comes up like that. I swear to God, most of the time it's Beast Within. I just draw, like, all 3 Beast Withins. But okay, we're not going to look to actually... Okay, pitch red. We're not going to look to block this turn, because with double Mark the Beast, it's very likely we actually get to, like, pulping off of 1, maybe discard 1 into Graveling. Feels pretty good. So if we use Carrion Husk here, it blocks 5, basically. So it's not the worst Carrion Husk use. Especially since we don't want to block from hand. Maybe we'll do this. His turn's looking relatively weak, but because we're committed to not blocking this turn, there's a chance he still would have put us under Husk pressure just from going wide enough. What is going on here? Okay. Sure. Okay, now the one thing is I don't know if he runs any Sync Blows or like That All You Gots. Sometimes they will side them in. Just to turn off pulping, so it's you know, it's probably better to lead with Wild Ride. There's no reason not to. Obviously, really hoping to draw a blue, discard Mark the Beast. That'd be insane. That'd be like the best ever. Please. All right, we discard the pulping. So we'll end up just playing out this Mark the Beast. It's just a 12 damage turn. Not great. Not great here. Stumbling a little bit. But can't be too upset with 12 damage. We still have Crown if we really need to push this Graveling out of Arsenal. We just haven't seen a Dread Screamer yet. But we're also getting him down pretty low. Like, if we can just survive... I mean, my god, if we draw, like, a Blood Rush hand this next turn, it's just nuts. Okay. But there's a lot of good draws for us still. Like, we only seen one Endless Maw. Endless Maw is a really good card in this kind of spot. We haven't seen any Blood Rush. Ugh. Alright, this cost curve is not good. Next to the Endless Maw is the only problem here. Ha. Yeah, this cost curve is not good next to Endless Maw. We can get greedy with the Crown to cycle out Graveling, but if we're going to do that, we'd want to do it really early so we see more information on how to block with the rest of the hand. So I think we might just scale down to a Hungering Slaughter Beast turn. It's not great, 2-card hand for 7. But it's what we'll end up doing here. I don't want to sack Crown. We're still ahead enough on life. This will be fine. Okay. So he plays Flameclaw. He's going to get the Phoenix out now. So he likely doesn't swing the Searing. So his turn's pretty weak, actually. Oh, it's a Take the Tempo. So it's a Take the Tempo. But we don't need to fear that. We can just save the life. The other thing we could do right now is actually... Now, we don't want to crown because it's not interrupting mask, but we could crown just to push for the extra blue. God, that is so greedy. Nope, we'll just return the 2-card hand for 7 because this is not threatening to take the tempo hit. There's an online tavern brawl or something tonight, isn't there? I don't know. I'm not the best rep for tavern brawlers because I don't really know what's going on in their schedule. There probably is. I would check like the Facebook groups. They post, or their Facebook page. We could actually look. It should be on their Facebook page. Tavern brawlers. Oops, I can't type. Brawlers. They would have posted something. Nope. Okay, their most recent post was about this. Their most recent tournament was October 13th. So no, I don't think there's one tonight. Oh, Tinder's back. Yes, let's go. Get out of here. I report them, I hide them, and they still come back. YouTube needs to get on it. I don't quite know why YouTube can't handle it. Okay, sorry. All right. We put him at 3. Oh. This hand's pretty juicy. It doesn't look great, but we have options open to us, right? We can either block here and here and go for Dread Screamer Graveling. That's one option that this turn allows us to do. We can also block just here and go for Dread Screamer Doomsday. It's another turn our hand allows us to do. The one thing we need to worry about is there are 2 misses exactly. Now, of course, if we hit those 2 misses, that'd be quite the Levia game, wouldn't it? But the other thing that this turn is contingent on is actually banishing a 3rd Blood Debt off the Dread Screamer. Like, if that doesn't happen, that's also pretty rough, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 non-Blood Debts in the graveyard. We're going to let the E-Strike hit, first and foremost. I'd honestly play Clash if I was given some Clash decks. Go ahead, build one. They're dirt cheap. It's dirt cheap. Clash decks are very, very affordable. All right, I really want to... Oh man, like I want to just go for the Dread Screamer Doomsday line so bad, but like what happens if we don't banish that? Ugh. Be so sad. The one card we're definitely not using is the Swing Big, so we'll get rid of that. Yeah, we can take this as well. Identifying synergies? Okay, yeah, that can definitely be... That can be a bit tougher if you're new to deck building. I do want to make like a Clash deck building series. But the issue is I still can't record any gameplay until like next week. I ordered... it's in my thing. I ordered so much of my new cam gear stuff. Like, I'll actually have a full setup again. Thank God. So I'll need some friends over and we can actually record some Clash gameplay probably next week. Okay, so now this is the point where we really need to decide, do we go for the Graveling play because it's more consistent, or do we try for the Doomsday? The Graveling play is just more consistent, but sticking Doomsday means we like just instant win. The issue is we don't know if we hit it. So we're going to have to go for the... We are going to go for the like confirmed route. We are going to go the confirmed route. A little bit boring, I know, but if Blood Debt was at 6, I would definitely go for it. This play is just still really good. Did we hit one of the misses? We did. We hit the Iron Rod out, so now we're actually very safe here because this is going to be a miss. This is a miss, but we'll still be at 2. It's quite nice. We do wish this was a red Dread Screamer, but we can't complain too much. This game's also just been a bit odd. We've seen No That All You Gots, which is our sideboard card for this matchup. We've seen 0 Blood Rush, which is like our biggest card. Alright, so they do run the Sink Belows. It's good to know on pulping. Good to know on pulping. Our Reckless Swing is at the bottom of the deck, so that can't be our win con anymore. So unfortunately, swinging with this Graveling doesn't actually force them to block. They can block with just this 5. And still keep a 4-card hand, but we've got 3 armor left, and I don't know, maybe we just punt the game. We'll see what we draw, but it could be possible. I don't love this. We've had very strange turns. We had a 6 damage turn, we had like a 12 damage turn. Those both sucked. Yep, this is exactly it. He goes to 1. Of course, now we see. Now we see a hand with a red Dread Screamer. A little unfortunate. Okay, so here's the issue. We definitely want to crown away the Savage Feast, like 1000%. We'd love if this got value as well. We would love it. But we need to see what this gets us with Crown first, because we may just be in a position to hold the hand and just go Dread, that all you got, or Dread, Graveling, maybe Arsenal, that all you got for late. So we are going to let this one hit. If you like Razor Ancestrals, sure, we lose. But I really want to see if this card's blue or not off the Crown. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to block the 3 there. We're going to send this to the bottom. Goodbye, Savage Feast. Ugh. That's not great either. Alright, so now we know we can't that all you got. Because if this draws a red, we are in big trouble. That is really rough. What would be even worse, though, is if we're actually forced to block. Wow, that would actually suck. Maybe we have to go for that all you got here. Because if that's even just a 3 damage, we have to block with the card and it falls apart. Because if we block with this, and even if it draws a red, we could at worst at least Red Screamer. If it draws a blue, of course it gets even better. I think we have to go for it. If this is a 0 for 4, we're in the same spot, which definitely sucks. Come on, come on. Oh, we did it. Oh, team. Oh, this is so good. It's so good. We dug 2, though. We saved our dig for this. Of course, we could have missed on the Blood Debt banish there, but there's nothing we could do about it. We were at 4 misses. The Crown, that all you got, Dread, and Rouse. That's just how it would have panned out. This is good, though. We saved some dig. We did it. On the key turn where the dig mattered, we needed that little bit of extra dig to find the blue. Now we're going to get to swing 13 off 3. Arsenal, Dread. It should be on lock. Should be on lock. They're at 1. This is a clean 6. This is a break point. Is it GG? GG. All right, cool. We did it. Well, we played that one right. Not super remarkable on our end. We had some really shitty turns. Like, this is nuts. Our damage per turn was 8. That is so bad for this deck. So bad. I'll ask for a rematch if this guy's down. Rematch? Just to get some extra games here. If I should have blocked more. He blocked a lot. He blocked a lot more than if I normally would. And actually, if he did block more, it was better for us, because if the game went a little bit longer, we would have found more power cards. Because we were stuck with really, really weak hands. So if he drew the game out, it would have benefited us, because we'd find our better hands. But no, 5 blocked a lot more than normal. He had like a dud hand himself. With the 1 cost without a blue. We had a really good turn 0 though. Just being able to fill that much, not getting punished with no non-blocks, felt pretty good. Into the Deadwood Rumbler, very good. Talking about Clash in the chat, pretty sure my deck sucks, but I still have fun. Your deck sucks in Clash? Hey, that's just like straight unconfirmed. How would we know? There's been no test runs for it. I think it'd be kind of fun. If at the Ohio 10K this weekend, if I build some extra Clash decks and just bring them with me, get some people to try the format, that'd be cool. Did he choose first or second? I guess we'll see. Okay, he chose for me to go first. Okay. Okay. Wow, we're actually pretty close to having a very decent turn 1. We could have just, you know, Rouse, Pitch, Reveal, if these were higher, into like Claw Swing Arsenal. Would have been a pretty decent turn 1. At this point, though, I'm actually down to just get the graveyard fill. Right, it's turn 0, so we don't super care. We're just going to do this. Whatever we discard, both of these are fine in Arsenal. They're just go again pieces. We actually discard a go again, so this is great. We get to go Wild Ride Claw off the blue. This is a great turn 0. Great turn 0. Arsenal Dread Screamer, really strong. Really strong. So what's kind of crazy about like this version of the deck? Okay, nice. We are going to leak a bunch of damage, it looks like. What's pretty crazy about this version of the deck is like you just genuinely don't roll scab skins. The one thing I learned from Vasily when we were playing this deck together on the deck tech stream that we did, or the video that we did, he said in this deck the main time you really roll scab skins ever is on an Art of War turn. Oh yeah, we leaked 3 damage. Love that. Wait, excuse me. Because you're so chock full of go again, you don't really ever need to roll scabs. Of course, if you like brick hard, you can. But for the most part, all you're going to do with your scab skins is roll them on an Art of War turn to get greedy and push for a +1. Because if you roll a 1 into a 1, you can at least banish with the Art of War instant turn off Blood Debt. So it's kind of cool. It's different. It is different. Because normally I would roll scab skins to get like Ghostly Visit value, but we're not running that in this version. But that's like my favorite use of scab skins is just swing big, hungering, writhing with a blue. Well, what are you doing with that one floating? You can go ahead, try with scab skins, swing Ghostly Visit for 4. Like, it's just nuts. Okay, so our hand, we can get really greedy with our hand if we want to. We can... The greed play is we block with swing big, we go Dread Screamer into Deadwood Rumbler, try to hit the Phoenix Flame. It'd be a 4-card hand for 12, which is not great value, but we would get our shot at hitting his Phoenix Flame. That's one way to go about it. The other route is just block down with both of these, swing big for 8. That's more likely what we'll do this turn. In fact, I'll start blocking for that purpose. A 2-card hand for 8 is really good here, and we get some graveyard fill out of it. And there's no reason to force the Dread Screamer on an awkward curve turn, because we do want to just wait for the Gravelings more than anything. Or even on like a Blood Rush. Dread Screamer has a higher ceiling. Maybe you get an extra attack out of it. So when I play into Fi, I probably should always just take the first hit. But having played a ton of Fi, my habit on seeing hands like this is they go 3, 1, and then like a 4, right? And so the spots where I'm most likely to block are on either one of the 3s here, and then like on the 4 with equipment. So if it's like a snatch or something, they can also lead with a 4. So it's a bad habit. I shouldn't actually block the first one. I should wait for their second 3. It is a bad habit. I gotta stop doing that. Don't block the first 3 if you're blocking twice. Oh, wow. Okay, well now we got a little screwed. We got a little screwed. Ouch. What on earth could that have been? That he just doesn't swing anything else. I mean, I guess now we go for the swing big route. We will do it. It's a decent hand out of us. It's not great. I kind of want to get really greedy here. It's very greedy, but if I roll scabs and hit, then I can squeeze in the claw swing and the swing big. I kind of want to try it. I'm almost never greedy in this matchup, but I do want to see if it works out. If it's a 1, obviously it sucks. It was a 4, okay. You know, these are practice games. These are practice games. So, okay, we got the squeeze in the extra 3. That really made this turn nuts. Because what we want to do is just punish the fact that he passed there. Because it was a bit bad for us. We wanted to fill the graveyard. So if he's giving us that extra card, let's make the most out of it. And we did. This was a 17 damage turn. Can't be mad about that. Like 0%. It's quite good. Alright, so he leads into an Art of War. I guess that's what he was waiting for. He wanted like an actual 5-card hand Art of War turn. That's okay. That's okay. Our hand does not have great value here. At all. In fact, this is really bad. Almost to the point where rather than block with Rouse, I might as well arsenal it and maybe use it as crown fodder. Just because the block is so weak. Now, if he really has the snatch here on this soaring, I will be very hurt by it. But we have Husk still, so I think we're actually fine. I'm going to say no blocks on this, try to space out my blocks on Mask a bit better. But I think ideally our turn is quite legitimately just play out Hungering, pitch Reckless, Arsenal Rouse, block with Graveling. That is pretty weak. He banishes a Soul Bead. That's not the biggest deal. Alright, so this is a clean 3. I don't hate giving this up then. Spaces out our Mask. The Ancestral. Oh boy. Bit of a punish. It had go again anyway though, so really all it did was +1 here. That's okay. At least we get it out of the way now. It wasn't stacked on the Mask draw, so we'll just block whatever the next swing is and still deny Mask. Not the biggest deal. And actually this doesn't even trigger Mask, so we don't worry about this. A weapon swing does not trigger Mask. Pretty nice. Alright. And he can't Ancestral the Phoenix Flame, so this will just be a clean equipment block. Just block it for 2. Or actually it'll be 3. Yeah, that's fine. Deny the Mask here. And we are going to save this for the crown use. Feels a bit better. Ooh, okay. We're way ahead on that damage trade. His Art of War didn't really do much. But our return sucks. Our return sucks. But see, that's the benefit of even the Iron Rot there, right? Is we're playing a weird game. We're kind of more the aggressor than they are. So we want the free graveyard fill without having to slow down and block more. So the Iron Rot's huge there. We're going to get the crown use out of next turn as well. So it's a bit more graveyard fill. It'll be good. That part of the game plan will work out. Interesting. I get to play Prism. You are so happy. Yeah, it's really cool. I really love the hero identity is preserved so well in Clash. It's very, very cool. Very cool. And the other cool thing about how it worked out with the specializations is the older heroes have more specializations than the newer heroes. They have like the super rare slot and the majestic slot for their spec, and most new heroes do not. Okay, so he's... Okay, well, this is a snatch turn out of him. I don't want to block with his hand. I want to just crown. I do not want to block. I think we'll go ahead and deny the snatch right here. He razors it. Okay, I was not expecting that. But once again, this is actually kind of fine because it's not stacked on his mass draw. So we, in the end, are okay with this. It's inefficient on his end. He pitched a red for it. Not the biggest deal. And that does mean our Husk got full value. Our Husk got full value, so we don't mind that. Blocked an actual 6, not a 4. Ideally, we just want to force this out, though. This needs to happen this turn. I'm getting a bit greedy with it. I want to save it, maybe in conjunction with Scabs to interrupt his mass draw. Get a 3 block. Cycle Rouse. Be nice. Let's see it. All right, it's a Searing. So this can't trigger his mask, but at the same time, it's what we really want to do to get the Rouse out of there. So, and this interrupts his mask anyway. But yes, it does not trigger mask. Okay, we'll get Rouse out of here. Perfect. Perfect. All right, we're getting a 5-card hand with Blood. She's at 14. We are set. Okay, so we're going to pitch the Wrecker. We pitch our yellow. That's not great. We can still get a bit screwed if we only draw reds here. It's not awesome, but it's functional. We'll just go ahead and swing in with the Hungering Slaughter Beast Arsenal Endless Maw. It'll be a fine turn. It still presents lethal. That's all we really want. This will be exactly 9. Endless Maw and Arsenal is absolutely busted. And the Boneyard, or not the Boneyard, the Blood Rush helped us push our Graveyard Fill really well. So, nice. Oops, you clicked too fast. What does that mean? Oh, did he say like no blocks or something? Okay, there we go. Okay, so, I mean, as you see, I'm not going to say that this matchup's like unwinnable for Fi, but it feels pretty freaking good for Levia. It's kind of insane. I think the Fi has more success playing into me if they run the Lynx. So Tarek, if you're here and you play Lynx, I know you're stream sniping. That's okay. I do want it to be a good game. But yeah, the mask like doesn't really work with what Levi's trying to do. Levia wants to block 1 or 2 cards per turn, and my equipment suite is insane. So your mask is just 2 life for the most part. If you run links, yes, you don't get 2 life out of it, but you can push like 7 or 8 damage out of it, and that can be enough. Like, not always, it can be. But now they just died a reckless swing in theory, which is kind of cool. Oh my god, we just cannot draw blues for the life of us. But that's okay, we can have a 2-card hand for 7, we can block with these, it's not the biggest deal. They get the Minnowism. We're way ahead on the life trade. So we'll just return 7, we have enough life to work with it. Save the 9 for later. Okay, he Ancestrals again. This is still fine because it's not on top of the mask draw. So we are very fine with how this works for us. That's 3 times now he's gone for a buff that's not been on the mask draw. So, not a big deal. And we still have 1 more card to block with. So as long as this next one isn't a 4, we should feel pretty okay. If it is a 4, oh, that does hurt, but maybe it works out for us. Okay. Cool. It's not a 4. It's a 3. Sure. So this will interrupt the mask draw. He can't secretly buff the Searing. It doesn't draw anyway. I feel like I've said this every turn now, but to be fair, like, it's what Fi does. Fi does the same thing every turn. Oh, baby, Tinder. You cannot quit, can you? You just can't quit. They come in for 5. No big deal. We are still very, very ahead. They snaps it. That's also fine still. They Fi. Okay, so there is going to be 1 more attack at the end then, in which will threaten mask again, but it's going to be for a random arsenal draw, so not too worried about it, honestly. Yep, this is fine still. Now, what would have been huge is if we had the blue, we would be able to block with 1 more card, and it would really just destroy his turn. But yeah, we just can't. We can't block that. So he does get a mask draw off. It shouldn't really matter, though. It's just going to be something in Arsenal. If it's a blue, great. If it's a red, sure, it hurt. But we couldn't do anything about that anyway. And we come in for 7. 7 is going to demand at least 1 card from hand. We're still at 10. All we need is a 1-card hand in theory to return 9. So we are definitely okay. Oh, my problem playing against Fi is like, I gotta stop disassociating. I played Fi so much that like the deck is just 0% interesting. Like I've played it enough, I've watched it enough, I played against it enough that like, my god, like they just don't do an interesting thing at all. Okay, this is quite a good hand. We will get to block the way we want. So likely on this type of hand, we have 3 blocks that we don't mind giving, so I'm going to protect the full HP on this. The Ancestral again. That's fine. Once again, it's not on the mask draw. Holy smokes. Didn't I say that before? But to be fair, like, they need to play it now just to see more of what their hand lets them do. I get it. Alright, we block like this now. That all you got draw will give us an arsenal. It's very hard for this card to be trash, but, you know. Alright, nice, nice. So, we can go ahead, that all you got right now. Just in case, for whatever reason, he arsenals the Phoenix Flame or something. It'll protect the same 1 damage, because Shuko is gone. That all you got is, like, secretly pretty insane for Levia. Because it's a draw, and it's a graveyard fill. And you love draw, and you love graveyard fill. And actually, this build quite likes yellows. Okay, so actually, seeing him put that back, I shouldn't have that all you gotted, to be fair. Because this could be like a double strike, and then he threatens mask. So actually, that was wrong. I should have held it, seeing that he stacked Phoenix in the reaction window. Okay, but it's not. Ooh, wonderful. Alright, we get a 9 damage return, and we get to Arsenal swing big. Sheesh! It's taking forever to close this game. Taking forever. But it definitely will be a win. We just need to get there. My god. Okay, like, what's it gonna take, chat? What do you think? For people to legitimately say, oh, hey, Levia's pretty good. Because if you watch specifically, I'm going to throw shade. If you watch the card guys, they are some of like the most toxic tier list creators in the game. Because they literally look at like Azalea and Levia and start laughing and just say, oh man, trash, unplayable. If you want to win, do not play this hero, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, they have Josh on their team, and I quite like Josh, and Josh will always stick up for Bolton. And Josh is like, no, Bolton's in a good spot, blah, blah. And they believe him just because he's a well-known Bolton player. He doesn't have like great wins on Bolton recently. He won like one ProQuest or something, but like, okay, I won an RTN, I won a ProQuest on Levia. Like, the deck can do the same thing. But they just like do not respect Levia. They legitimately laugh. And it's pretty annoying. It's pretty annoying because they're one of the bigger channels and like they are very toxic when it comes to what they think of Levia. But like, what will it take? What will it take to legitimately get people to start saying, oh yeah, actually, Levia's good. I get it. Man, like she can be the pick. I understand. Okay, this is nuts. Yeah, sorry, you do not win anymore, Fi. Well, this guarantees kills him, because we get to go Dread Swing Big for game. Dread Swing Big for game. Protect the HP, why not? Whee! You know, like, there are good players out there, like Shang Tsung, literal Taiwan calling champion, who thinks Levia is amazing. He loves Levia. I love him right back. He's great. Great face for the community of Levia players. There are, at this point, Nats players. GG's. At this point, there are like Nats top 4s, 2 of them in the world, like Nats top 8. We still, for whatever reason, haven't made a calling top 8. I'll get there. I'll get there. I'll get there, okay? Thank you for the game. Thank you. We'll get there, all right? I promise. But now we've got like the win against Nitya. We've now got the win against Pablo. I'm gonna play against Tarek, and we'll see how that goes. But you know, like Levia's got meat on her bones now, like legitimately. The players who dedicate their time to her tend to be pretty good just because of the reps. The wins are a little bit few and far between because she can have some low variance, but she's legitimate. Like, she is a legitimate deck. It's just, yeah. It's always so sad to hear their tier list where they joke, like, if you want to ever win a game, do not play this hero, bro. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, man. Like, who wants to listen to that drivel? Dude, it's so boring. That said, I like a lot of the other things they do, but their tier lists are just always, they grind my gears. Okay, well, we've got like 30 more minutes. What we need to do before the stream wraps up is I do need to decide on a winner for the Ohio Speakeasy ticket. Okay? So we'll probably get back to like one more game, but let me just pull up some stuff here because I did say I would do it on stream. And there's only like 3 contestants, and we'll have you guys vote, okay? A little bit of engagement. You guys will vote. You guys will vote on the winner. Where is it? 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 Okay. So, nice tier list voice acting. Oh, they're all just bros. Wait, sorry. If I really want to replicate it, hey guys, hey, Levia, you want to win? Don't touch her, bro. Like, it's just that's the real. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay. Let's see. So we've got a couple people who are in this giveaway. Sorry if I broke your ears, but like legitimately it tilts me. How do I make a poll again? Okay, here we go. Let's say winner Speakeasy ticket. Speakeasy ticket. Okay. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the deal, right? A catered dinner, some cheap. This is what people were doing the giveaway for. Special giveaway in today's video brought to you by the Realm Games out in Columbus, Ohio. Now, they're going to be hosting a Battle Hardened at the end of the month here, and they are offering up a Speakeasy ticket. Now, the Speakeasy After Party ticket is worth $100. It's going to get you access to a bar, a catered dinner, some cheap drafts, a lot of social interactions. And the way to actually win this ticket is to leave a comment with the highest possible Levia damage turn you can think of, like I tried in this very dated video. Look at little Ethan go. I'll be announcing the winners on Monday. I hope to see you there on October 21st. That is like 2 pairs of glasses. Real quick, my Realm gamers, we actually have a special giveaway. I'll stop the repeat. All right, but there we go. That's what we need to decide on. There's a bit of a giveaway. The challenge wasn't to like make the most damage and therefore you win. That's kind of what it sounded like, though. I should have clarified. All you have to do is just give your best shot at trying to design to orchestrate the most damage Levia could do in a turn. And I need to pick the winner today. Okay, so we've got a couple people to look at, right? So there's this guy, 207 damage. I actually quite like Nathan. Not to be biased, but there's Nathan. All right, we're gonna open his up. We've got Hollow. He does 42. Don't be biased, okay? When you vote, it's not about the amount of damage. We're gonna go over how they orchestrate it, right? And if it's boring, if it's just like nothing but like potions, that's not cool. Okay? So here we go. Dark Odious. Actually, technically 93, we'll say. No. He said 87. And then in this video, I think the only real entry was, unfortunately, a European, but his was the most creative, so we don't need to worry about that, though. Okay, so we've got 3 people, all right? Don't vote yet. Don't vote yet. We need to go over what they said, okay? So we've got Nathaniel Snyder first. Here's what he says. Picture this. Board is 3 pot, 3 time snap, 3 crazy brew, 3 potion of strength. Okay, not gonna lie, already kind of boring. Sorry. If it's just potions, it's not very creative, but Barkbone Strapping, Skull Crushers, Scab Skins. Okay, that's good. It's good spice. Eking out Skull Crushers value. I get it. Hand is blue, Beast Within, Blood Rush. Hungry Slaughter Beast, red and Arsenal. Pitch, blue, Bellows. Discard Beast Within, trigger reveals Beast Within. Draw. I don't know what SB stands for. Maybe Slaughter Beast plus BRB. Hand is now Beast Within, SB, Blood Rush. 2 float. Play Blood Rush. Discard Beast Within. Reveals SB. I'm sorry, I just do not follow that. Does anyone know what that is? SB. Draws Art of War, Blood Rush. Hand is SW. What the hell is SW? Am I stupid? What? I know all the Levia acronyms. Something's not matching up. SW? SB, Blood Rush, Art of War. Oh my god. Play Blood Rush, discard Beast Within. Reveals SB. Draws Art of War, Deeper to Evil. Okay, this one's DRE normally. Hand is SB, Art of War, DRE, 0 floating. Swing big. Oh, swing big. Thank you. Swing big. Activate Barkbone. Roll 6. Gain 3 +1 Skull Crushers. Spend 1 Art of War. Banish +1. Banish. DRE draws 2. Draws blue plus another DRE. Hand is now SB. Swing bigs. Art of War blue. DRE 2 floating. Spend 1 Art of War. Banish. DRE draws 2. Draw another Art of War deep rooted. Hand is now 3 swing big. Art of War blue. Deeper Evil 1 floating. Man, this is intense. Spend 1 Art of War +1. Banish. Deeper Evil, draw 2. Draw Gorganian Tome plus blue. Oh, this is a good touch. All right, he's winning for creativity. I like this. He assumes the +1 draw on, or the +2 draw on Gorganian Tome. That's funny. Hand is SB. Blue, Gorganian Tome, blue floating. Plays Gorganian Tome, draws blue. Hand is now swing big, blah, 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 0 floating. Activate 3 pot, 3 potion of strength, 3 time snap potion. Activate 3 crazy brew, 3 6s. 4 more Skull Crushers. That's true. It's not once per turn. This is smart. Activate Scabskins, roll 6. It's another trigger. Oh my god, how long is this? Holy shit. This is a lot of work. 12 floating, 9 action points. Play Swing Big for 34. 10 floating, 8 AP. Play Swing Big, 22. Hand is blah blah blah. 8 floating, 7 AP. Play Swing Big for 22. Hand is blah blah blah. 6 floating, 6 AP. Play Deeper to Evil, 20. 3 floating, 5 AP. Play Deeper to Evil. Pitch blue, play Deeper to Evil. Pitch blue, Swing Claw number 1. Swing Claw number 2. Play Hungering Slaughter Beast, red from Arsenal, banishing DRE. Hand is now 0 blue, 0 floating, 2 AP. Pitch blue, Deeper Evil from banish, 20. Hand is empty, 0 floating, 1 AP. 207 damage. Okay, to be fair, he missed something. Okay? He could have added an Amulet of Ignition, and he could have had a Endless Maw in Arsenal. So that way, when you activate Amulet of Ignition, it would discount the first Claw Swing, and then you'd have 1 extra floating for an Endless Maw in Arsenal. So, in theory, he missed 2 damage. So, I don't know. I also, there's probably a lot more you can do, start adding things in like a, because he said he ends the turn with 0 floating, 1 AP. So, in theory, that 1 extra action point could have been like a Tome of Torment. Tome of Torment could have drawn something else. Like another blue, so then that could have been Endless Maw. It could have been maybe like a Tear Limb from Limb in there or something. More than 2 damage, all those buffs. Oh, no, because it would have been just base. He already plays a Hungering Slaughter Beast red. So all we're adding is really base 2 on Endless. But, very good. This is very in-depth. I enjoyed this. Okay, so we've got Nathaniel so far winning. But to be fair, we haven't looked at the other people. I liked this, though. Very creative. He really worked for this. I love the Skull Crusher's triggers. He really went hard on that. I'll give him a pass on just doing the boring stuff with Epot, Time Snap. But, because this is cool. Okay. The next one is Hollow. It's a quick one. Beast Within, Graveling, Swing Big, Blue Pitch. Scabs, +1. Skull Crushers, roll Scabs, hit 5 or 6. Blood Rush from Arsenal, discard Beast Within, draw blues off Beast Within, draw 2 from Blood Rush. Pitch Blue, Claw for 6, Pitch Blue, Claw for 6. Swing Big for 11, Close Chain, Pitch Blue, Screamer for 9, Graveling for 10, 42. This is a realistic one. I actually like this. I feel like this could come up. I've done like 30-something damage before in a Levia game. It was in that video, like 34 or something. So it can come up. This is like, you know, a little bit hopeful because you're running Skull Crushers for an extra like +5 on that turn. But I like it. You know, it's simple, but it's a playable one. You could see this happening. You could. Then the last one we've got is Dark Odious. That was Hollow, for anyone who wants to vote. Then you got Dark Odious. Okay, start with 3 crazy... he's doing the same thing. Oops. Play Beast Within... play Blood Rush ×3. Discard Beast Within each time. Okay, so he's skipping a lot of steps. You should now have 7 cards in hand with 9 resources floating. Okay, bit of... you know, shortcutting a little bit. That's fine. Tear Limb from Limb. Okay, I like that. That's spicy. He's adding Tear Limb from Limb into the math. That's good. 4 cards in hand, 3 resources. Pitch Blue to get Swing Big ×3. Okay, he's shortcutting again, but I get it. Swing Big number 1 is 8 + 8 + 8 + 8 + 6 + 5 + 6. Swing Big number 2 is and 3 are 8 + 5 + 6. Total is 68. Or no, he did the math wrong. 87. And I guess he forgot the potions of strength. 93. Okay, so that one is still like... Okay, so here's the thing. If we go for like perfect world scenario, then Nathaniel's is better. In a perfect world scenario, Nathaniel just basically did this, but better. But you got to give this guy props. He added Tear Limb from Limb, which I was hoping to see. And then Hollow did like a realistic pitch. So you guys need to vote. Who wins? We'll close the poll in 1 minute. Yeah, the guy did a paper. Now, this was impressive. All right, closing the poll in 1 minute. Vote. There are 56 people watching. We've only got 13 votes. Come on, people. Just click a button. Even if you're at work, just click a button real quick. It's like they were in the room. Yeah, that was my yeah, that's my card guy's impression. No hate against them, but it's just their tier list. All right. Are you flying out or driving? I'll be driving to Columbus. I'm actually staying there for like a whole week, because Sandra is doing a research opportunity out there for a little bit too. And then I'm going right after to Denver. The plane ticket to Denver from Rochester was $26. Yeah, Hollow is the realistic one. Yes. The plane ticket to Denver was 26. So I'm quite literally going from Columbus to Columbus Battle Hardened 10K, all that, to Denver for their Battle Hardened, staying with Mo Bogsley, Mark from the Card Guys, or not the Card Guys, from Hometown TCG. Then I'm flying from Denver to San Jose. I'll be meeting up, doing a Thunder episode with, of course, our boys, Flesh and Blood Down Under. We've got Tall Timmy, Luke and Box. I'll be doing an episode with them. And then Worlds kicks off, and I'm staying there for like a whole week. And then I'm flying back. I get 3 days home, and then I'm going to Philly, SEGCon, where I'll be streaming the entirety of it. And let me tell you, the quality on this stream, I spent some big bucks this time. To be fair, the FedEx money has not come through. The FedEx money is honestly probably not coming through for a long time. They are really trolling me with it. But I took out, going into a little bit of credit card debt just to go ahead and replace it because I needed it in time for Worlds and SEGCon. So went ahead and revamped the entire setup. I can't wait to show it off. It's going to be sick. We're talking, mirrorless cameras. We're talking way, way better quality overall. Better tokens. Better camera angles. It's going to be good. As much as I love the idea of 200 plus, I got to give it to Hollow for doing something realistic. Okay, see? Yeah, there's a bit of back and forth. All right, I did say I was going to end it in 1 minute. So we got 29 votes in. I'm going to get one more vote in. We'll call it 30 votes. That's like half the viewers. 30 votes and I'll close it. So if you haven't voted, go ahead. And then I gotta let them know who won. Okay, somebody. One more vote. Do you think Dromai decks are competitive level? I think they're close. Oh, 30 votes. Okay, we're closing it. End poll. Let me take a picture of that. Snip and snatch. Snipping tool. I think Dromai decks are close. They are just not going to be it when it comes to Fi being so prevalent in the meta, right? That's just not a reality for Dromai. Like, if you want to see just such a sad Dromai game that even the best of the best are playing, 983 media. Oh, Candy Crush, what the Jesus media. Like, in the same video I was in, the second match is Fi versus Dromai, and these are terrific players, but it's just a little sad. Like, you can't just watch this happen and feel okay about it. It's a very one-sided. It's pretty much as bad as this one. I don't know if you all saw it, but if you want to really see Hayden just get to do nothing but play with himself and cry, this game where Isaac Root just does nothing but CMH and all Hayden can do is roll over and take it. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So those are some stompy matchups in the first round, but to be fair, that one was like a bit of a high roll. This is just what Fi will do against Dromai. So that's always going to be the gatekeeper deck for Dromai right now, because Mask just becomes... I mean, that interaction just so good. So good. Okay. Funny that the only national one with Dromai was in Norway as far as I know. I think that checks out. I didn't hear about another one. But yeah, people were all hype about her because she was winning. She won that one. She was doing well in like some of the Battle Hardens. I still wish the Yoroi body coming out was Draconic and not Ninja. Yeah, okay. Fair. If it was Draconic, that really helps this Dromai matchup. Just stick a little bit more HP against the Fi. Then again, losing Flame Scale is pretty rough for Dromai. That is really rough. But yeah, you'd be able to block 5 on the Lava Burst. That'd be pretty big. Just an extra life buffer, but... Hamal. Oh, what the hell is this? I don't know what you're referencing. You mean the poll? This has been a busy stream. Go back, when I wrap this up in like 20 minutes, I'll add all the timestamps for you. But we've done a lot today. We went over my match here. We did like a, my POV casting over this game is pretty insane. We went over my game versus Nitya, which was also like super tight. It was a good one. We played a couple games against Fi to warm up against Tarek, who I'll be playing right after the stream. We won both. The 200 the 207 damage sheet. Okay, yeah. Well, we went over it. We did like a Spark Notes version. You can open it up yourself on my Twitter, but he did a great job. This is good work, Nathaniel. I'm glad you won. He keeps it very easily trackable. Like what's in hand, what's in arsenal, what the pitch does to your floating resources. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And he even ends it all flexing with 1 AP left. Jeez. Okay, so I'll let him know that he won. Is it going to be live? What is going to be live? Is it going to be live? You versus Patel. It won't be live. It'll be part of this Goliath Gauntlet series. You can see the bracket here. So he wins this matchup. So it's us for top 8. And I think that's coming out next Friday. Now I'll know the winner come just a couple hours. I won't be able to say anything. It ruins the hype. But I will know, and maybe you can check on the Discord for an emoji reaction for how the game goes. Hope you win, Ethan. There can only be one Patel. Take Tarek. Oh yeah. You know how many messages I got after I took out Pablo? People were like, "Bro, no way! Like I bet on the thing. Like I lost so much money because of your upset. Oh man, you made me so much money. Like 2K, blah blah." Or oh, thank God, like you took out Pablo. Like I keep saying Hamilton's best in the world, like or whatever. I got so many messages after that win. It was kind of hilarious. People were like very invested with this part of the bracket, but it only gets better, right? It only gets better. And now, Hamal, you're invested. I'll do this for you, my friend. Okay, we can probably play like one more game to wrap it up. One more game. Let me just let Nathaniel know real quick. I don't think he was watching live, but I'll just respond real quick. The stream Loved your work. A+. You won. The Realm Games Speakeasy ticket. And then I'll copy this over and drop it here. There you go. All right, that's done. We can pop into one more game. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't check this on stream. Whatever. Okay, yeah, I already talked about this. Close all this. Back to Talishar. All right, is anyone asking for something in particular? We've got someone wanting a Clash game. Oh, let's do a Clash game. Let me open up my Clash deck. That'll be fun. February. Yeah. All right, homie, if you're in here and want to play Clash, hey, wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. I want to play Iyslander. Clash. Join game. Paste. All right. Okay, actually, to be fair. Wait, what happened here? Where's my equipment? Oh, I guess this is all I have. To be fair, I think this is the only Clash game I've played on stream, actually. Is Oldhim versus... Or no, it was Bravo versus Iyslander. Okay, this is good. This is good. We like this. We like this. Against Oldhim, I definitely want to take in some of the extra Frostbite generation. I want to take out... Actually, do I really want to take out an extra set of cards? I guess I don't need the Findals. It's good for value, right? Brothers is also good for value, but I think it's okay if I ditch it. I do want these sigils in. That actually helps the game plan of just survive into setting up your entire deck. Maybe I do go a little bit over 40. I don't hate it. I do not hate it. Sure, I'll try this. And we'll go ahead and go... a second, because this deck's actually pretty built for that. Okay. All right, we got a Clash game, folks. This is good. Good way to end the stream. Very fun. Some Clash. I really like Iyslander in Clash. It's a little too easy to build her, I think. That's my one fear. Is like you quite literally just get to port over most of what Michael Hamilton was doing. And it works because, Jesus Christ, like, these are commons, you know? You get Ice Eternal still as a hero spec. You get Frost Hex. The one thing you're really missing is the Insidious Chill, and then the big disruption pieces like Hypothermia and Channel. But it's fine. I mean, there's really a lot of good stuff you can throw in its place. All right. So he goes in with the Winter's Wail. Do we really expect a pummel out the gate? Not entirely. But these cards aren't that great to set up on our own turn here, so I think we'll sink the Ice Eternal to the bottom. It is a pummel, sure. A bit rough for us. Tick Incarceration. Maybe I should have gone ahead and just cycled out with these as well. Just dig for better cards turn one. Oh, we got Wounded Bull, though. We do like that. We do like that. Now, the other thing I can do here is just play out... No, that won't be worth it. I was going to say, we could spend the whole hand. Cold Snap, Wounded Bull, just to also throw a Waning Moon at him. We wouldn't get an Arsenal, though. But no, that can't be worth it. That can't be worth it. So we'll go ahead and just Wounding Bull for 8, and we'll Arsenal the Cold Snap. Should be good. Should be okay. Huh. You know. You know. Yeah, if you're going to Ohio and you're in the chat, let me know. Would y'all be down? I should have most of my camera gear by then. How cool would it be, actually, if we do like an impromptu Clash tournament on stream? I should have all my stuff. I can't build all the decks. I can only build maybe 3 decks. But if anyone in chat is down for that, I could bring my whole setup. I'll have it in time for Ohio. And we'll debut it. We'll debut it with like a in-person Clash tournament. That sounds pretty cool. I'm actually like very down for this, but I just need some other people to say yes. I'll hit up who I can on Twitter later, but Robin, good. All right, that's one person. Fantastic. I'm sure Elaine would also be down. Of course, me. We could probably rope some other people in if I just have decks for them to play. But it'd be cool to have other people's ideas brewing decks, because that's what we lack right now, in the Clash scene, right, is oops, wait, sorry, I wanted to respond to that. Did I want to respond to that? I guess I did. Wait, shoot. Sorry. Wanna respond. Typing. Cool. Okay, yes. Now we'll go ahead and respond here. Because likely we're going to eat whatever this is. On our turn, we will Wounded here. Arsenal Frost Hex. And yeah, so that leaves us one card to block with still as well. Plus we're drawing. Okay, yeah, this is fine. We'll respond like this, just get him the Frostbite in case it messes up what he wants to do. Did you a red Aether? It's a little... I don't really want to let that go, but it will be what we block with this turn. It's okay. I want to try to brew Dromine and Clash. I guess not having good spec might limit her. Not super true, right? You got to remember the power level is scaled down. So even something like Red Hot, right, becomes quite good. Like when you look at Clash, you need to start identifying win cons. And Red Hot becomes quite good. Now, people are going to run poppers. They definitely will because you can sideboard. But even so, like if you're setting up correctly into like this Rake the Embers Red Hot turn, that's a lot. That's a lot to handle. You don't expect majestic level performance in every card, right? But Red Hot's actually pretty close because it's got this, you know, arcane damage effect, or I don't even know if it's technically arcane, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I wouldn't give up on that. Their first action during their next turn costs an additional 1. Ooh, that is actually really rough for, oh man, that's super rough. How do I play Wounded Bull if that's the case? Maybe in that case, I just take this turn to block out an Arsenal. I just save the HP. I think I'm going to do it just because this messes me up a bit too much. Yep. And we'll swing the Waning. Okay, it's fine. It's scaled down. We lost some reds, but that will be okay. That will be okay. We landed the Arcane, and we're going to set up the Frost Hex, so I think we should be happy with that. Okay, nice. We get to chain Frost Hex into Frost Hex. Even play out an Amulet on our turn if we want. Still block with Sync. Not bad. Not bad. It's just damage. What's just damage? The cartilage? Nah, that was relevant. Their first action. And this would have been an action. Oh, for Red Hot? Okay, yeah, okay, there we go. Exactly then. Good point. It is just damage. It's not arcane damage. And when you look at that kind of thing, those kind of cards are really strong in the right scenario. And Clash is like the right scenario for this kind of card. Because as a constructed card, there's just more powerful things you can be doing. But in Clash, you got to look for how to actually close the game. This is one of the ways to do it. It just deals damage. That's pretty good. And it's got a cost curve that already works well with the Rake the Embers, right? So, yes, we're going to play out this Frost Hex. I guess I'll go ahead and pitch the Amulet, I guess. I don't want to be too greedy about it. If I pitch Amulet, or if I pitch this, I assume I play out Amulet on my turn. That might not be the case. So I think we're not going to be greedy about it. We're going to pitch this way. Also, this is just a clean block, right? I don't want to give him an extra plus for no reason. So yeah, I guess I am just blocking this way. We can play slow, right? We're already ahead. We're already ahead. Yeah, if we're going to do something with Clash in Ohio, I'll bring some Dromine Spice, since the other deck I could make is just Iyslander, which is something Blitz deck sub 4 cards and armor. Yeah. That is kind of the issue with Iyslander in Clash. The armor's super different, but like she really gets... I mean, this combo's nuts. Spellfire's nuts. She can't run Stormstriders anyway in Blitz, right? Which is kind of funny. Yeah, we'll just protect 4. Not gonna sink. We do eat 4 here. I mean, she's definitely good, but not unbeatable. I wouldn't think. I wouldn't think. Ooh. These are a little gross. Wow, this whole hand is really gross. Yikes. Alright, see? She hiccups. She does hiccup. Caught in 4K right here, right now. I don't know if these are really worth it. Then I put them in because They are just great Frostbite generation, right? If your win con is the Frost X's. But maybe without Insidious Chill, they're not good enough. Alright, I do want to respond with this now so that it can't be a pummel. Seems pretty good. So now they can't pummel the Thump, so really it's not that scary anymore. But these aren't good either. I don't mind keeping one in Arsenal, just for the potential to maybe get off like an attack? Ooh, maybe actually it probably just really doesn't work because it costs 1 and the Aethers cost 3. And without Tunic, this is just a really bad cost curve for us offensively. This is probably just not a good card. I should not run it. I don't think. But, you know, we're doing it for science. Yeah, we're going to block with him then. In Arsenal, it's going to be too hard to play out, I'm pretty sure. It's okay. And then we'll just swing 4. We've got the double Frost X out. We do need to be cognizant of our sigils and our what is it? Sigil of Permafrost. What else makes a ton of frostbites? Ice Eternal, right? Those are going to be pretty big for us. Just gotta be smart about playing them. Yeah, I'll poke around to see who wants to do a clash tournament at Ohio. But Robin, we've got you in the books. That'll be cool. You know, we could just make it like a small little round robin thing so that everyone's deck gets represented. We could probably do it with like 4 people, just 4 different decks, do every matchup. Be kind of cool. But if people are really hyped for it, then why not? Just actually run like a little side event clash event and just stream table 1. Now, I can't put up any money for the winner, but I could do like a playmat prize or something. Or maybe talk to Keith from the Realm Games and add in a little something. That'd be cool. Yes, you can have Dominate. Okay, yes, you may. You may. Winter's Wail with Dominate. Oh, that's actually quite interesting. Well, when you do it that way, it is mildly annoying. Huh. Mildly annoying. Yeah, all of a sudden these hands don't work very cleanly now, do they? I don't have an on-demand 1-block equipment piece. Maybe this should be Ironrot Legs. Huh. Dang. Wow, do I really just eat 4 so that I swing this? Yikes. The other option would be, instead, I just block for 3, play out E-Pot, paying for the Frostbite and Waning Moon, and then just Arsenal fighting for next turn. I think that's a bit better. I don't want to just take too much damage for that much inefficiency in a turn. So we'll do that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, there we go. Because, yeah, it's too inefficient to do the other play. That's what Clash is really cool about, is you've got powerful cards, but you still need to have your foundations, like, absolutely tight. Because when you're playing without huge haymakers, little mistakes will end up costing you. Not saying, like, that was an insane play or anything, but just something to be aware of. Okay. Come to fight, we can't unfortunately respond with any kind of ice effect here. Although I like the idea of... Oh, actually, I can't even do this because I can't play this out. Oof. To activate Waning Moon. That's a little rough. That's a little rough. So what do I do with this card then? Huh. Alright, well on my turn what I'm looking to do then is play out the Fighting Spirit for 7. And then I'd prefer to go ahead and arsenal the Amulet, I guess. So then I am free to block with 2 cards, but this costs 1 now. So I could Spellfire Cloak to block with it. Yikes. I think it's kind of just what ends up working, though, for me. So if I do that, then at least on my turn, I could just play out the Amulet. Like, swing Fighting Spirit, arsenal the E-Pot would still work. Or we just pitch, pay, and I guess Ironhide doesn't even do anything. No, no, no. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. Spellfire Cloak. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Ugh, no, we probably should. Nope, nope. We'll throw this in as well. I actually didn't notice it was a. I didn't notice it was Dominate. Oh god, wait. I'm actually so throwing this turn. Hold up a second. I can just block with this, discard the sigil. What am I saying? Yeah, because I have to discard for the thump. I didn't even think of that. Okay. Yeah, so it's fine. We'll unfortunately just let this card go. We needed a discard target anyway, so this actually works out. We would prefer this one, because this will at least give him a Frostbite, which is now relevant because of the Frost X's. We do heal a life as well. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I forgot Thump works like that. I was thinking the only discard would be from a pummel, and he couldn't pummel there, or they couldn't pummel there, but actually, no, it's built in. Man, you just don't see this card much, do you? For once, a Tales of Aria Guardian card that like doesn't really see play. Thump is good. It's quite good in Clash, I would think. It's a very strong effect. It seems to be what he built the deck around, or what they built the deck around. When they come to fight buffs, it's good. It's good. I like it. Good afternoon. Hey, Wes. Yeah, come to fight. Thump plus Giant Gloves is a good combo. Yep, that too. That combo comes up a lot. They didn't do it in this match. They wanted the AB3, which I totally get. They're going to Biting Gale. Okay. I assume they fuse it, which I will pay for. I don't want to lose this card. I guess I could even... Nothing's revealed. Okay, nothing's revealed. That's fine. Lag check. Sorry, sometimes it gets stuck if you don't type. So there we go. We're going to pass. We're going to put this in Arsenal. Okay, okay. This is a very good sigil turn. This is the kind of turn we look to do it, right? It's got to be. It won't be the most damage. Ooh, actually, them doing it that way makes me really not want a sigil. Because if all my arcane this turn is the Waning Moon, as long as they have a blue, I'm going to be in trouble to actually deal enough damage, I think. Maybe I still go for it. Maybe I do still go for it. Ah, but 2 in hand. There's definitely a blue in there, right? There definitely is. No, we're gonna go for it. We'll respond with this. On the Winter's Wail itself, I will, I guess, not block. They're not threatening Frostbite anyway. So we're going to not block, go to reaction. Oh yeah, I'm reacting anyway. God. Reactions. This. I will fuse. We'll let this resolve. And then we'll Waning Moon. Don't go off this turn. Well, we still have all the Ice Eternals. We still have all the Ice Eternals. The curve just worked for us to also protect 4 and swing Waning Moon. Yeah, but it is rough. The 1 blue there really hurts. Oh, should I have cracked Amulet? Oh, true. Ooh, maybe if I cracked Amulet. No. Because then it just would have discarded. They wouldn't have ended up with Arsenal. I think double Amulet plus Sigil is what I needed to wait for, actually. So yeah, that was bad. That was bad. Let's see. Do they take 2 damage? They did take 2 damage, though. We're getting them low. We still have our Ice Eternals up. So that's pretty big for us. The other thing we can actually look to do now, as soon as we see that next Aether Ice Fane, we want to try to lock in this combo. Because they can't protect 5 Arcane. So we really want to make sure we play our next red Aether Ice Fane. Because we already had to block with 1. That combo is also coming up. I think we're in a good spot. I think we've got to feel pretty okay with this. Okay. They come in for 7. If it's a pummel, I will be dead. So I will have to block with something in hand. We'll lead with the Polar Blast here. See what I draw. Another blocking card. I like that. I do like that. I guess I could Waning Moon now just to get a better read on their hand situation. We'll do that. It could still definitely be a pummel, but like if they're resource tight, then it won't be. And we'll get to know that right now. Like if they're resource tight, they won't pay into it. And they would try to keep that whole hand for the pummel, and then I'd be able to block better against it. But no, this can easily still be a pummel here. Okay. So we're going to block this way. If they do pump it up and it's a red pummel, it goes to 11. I take 8 and I don't die. I think I've got to play for that because this needs to be a blue. This needs to be a pummel. Is that what they really have this turn? And even if they pummel it, you know, I get the discard trigger off. Sure, at that point, I'll just like discard the Ice Bolt, I guess. Still swing Scar for Scar, which would be 4. Yeah, okay, we'll just take it. Sure. Show me pummel. It's got to be pummel. Oh, it's not a pummel. Oh man, then our turn's nuts. And our turn is pretty good. They pitch a red, so they still take 1 to the Frost Hex. Okay, so now what we can do is just play the fighting for 7, Arsenal Scar. It's not likely to ever be playable, but there is nothing else we can do with it this turn. And if anything, we can just look to block 3. Oh, it did crush, though. Oh, okay, it crushed. Oh, then this is fine. We don't even need to worry about trapping the Scar. Oh, I forgot about that. It's fine. Man, look at me when I don't play Levia. Jesus, I'm a mess. Absolute mess. That's good to know. Red pummel gone. Alright, well now, even if we just like Arsenal a blue Emeritus, we win. We've got the Spellfire Cloak Emeritus. Waning Moon turn. Ice Eternal, pretty good, but we do draw it next to a red, so it's not really playable right now. I guess it depends what they swing with. If they empty their hand... smart. Okay, yep, that's fine. They draw to 5. So, best we could do here, we can play out Arctic, just for a bit of attacks. We can swing Waning, which is lethal, so they do need to sack a card from hand to prevent that. And then we Arsenal Ice Eternal. So, we'll go for that. We should win here. Attack with Brothers? Oh, that is more damage, isn't it? But then... It's more damage, but it's not giving them the Frostbite. Yeah, that's probably better, though. Attack with Brothers. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay, I see it. They still give us... They gave us 2 reds. Oh, boy. Alright, we'll see that Frostbite's doing work now. Ah, so never mind. My play was better. Not really, but, you know, it worked out. Alright, cool. Would you consider doing a draft with viewers online with the new tool at some point? I wouldn't do sealed. I don't find sealed very interesting, but draft, sure. Okay, we win. We do win here. I can go ahead on the stack. Crack E-Pot. Crack Spellfire. Why not? Let those resolve. We'll go Ice Eternal. Ice Eternal, we're going to pay 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to pay 10. We're going to fuse. And then we are going to Waning Moon. All right, we did it. Wow, GG's. Wow, oh, hey, look, Iyslander, pretty good. I like that. I mean, I don't want to like push Iyslander like this narrative that she's like the best deck in Clash, but it feels pretty good. And not like I'm trying to play the best deck in Clash. It's just I don't want to play this in Blitz or CC because I've got Levia for those formats. But for once, yeah, I'm trying different decks here. The other decks I've been playing, I've got a Boltyn deck that's super fun. Like honestly, Boltyn absolutely shines in Clash. It's incredible. And then Dromai. Boltyn is surprisingly good in Clash. Very happy with how he works. What is Clash? Clash is the new hottest format on the block for Flesh and Blood. You can watch the announcement video right here on the channel. You've got the Clash, new young hero format. Here it is. So this is an announcement video for it. It's got the rule documents here. You can deck build on February. Rules are right here. You can deck build with it on February as well. Just go to decks. You can create. You can click Clash. All right there. But it is a format. Check. Okay, I fixed it. Jesus Christ. Bonked the mic. Yeah. Made this deck today. Feels a bit too red heavy against Iyslander. Oh, Rico, that was you. Awesome. Wait till Iyslander faces Prism. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They're sideboarding them. They're sideboarding. So the auto losses should actually let you, give yourself still a pretty good shot at trying to counter them a little bit. But yeah, so Clash is a fan-made format. It was inspired by Team Covenant. They were so unhappy with Blitz and Commoner as like the only introductory game formats for new players. Like this lack of a young hero feel to any of that gameplay was a little rough. So they were talking about it on stream, and I was like, well, okay, like let's try something new. Would you be down to do it? And I pitched them Clash, and they said, okay, yeah, we can get behind that. We can help promote it. So that kind of birthed into this 8-person bracket that is going to be launching mid-November after Dynasty comes out. It's going to be a double elim 8-person bracket. It's going to be casted by myself and Chris Bewley from LSS, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it'll just be an actual showcase of this new format that really tries to push for the young hero theme first and foremost. It's common and rares are locked to the majority of the deck. Equipment and the majority of the deck can only be commons and rares. Your weapon, your hero specialization, and your mentors can be any rarity. So you get to add that flavor level to the gameplay with your signature weapon, your specializations, all that. It ends up being a pretty cool format. There's a bit of sideboarding too. Didn't see the stream was on. Yes, you won, Nathan. Oh, are we winning? Yes, it's been an undefeated day. Oh, I always forget to update this. Yes, it's been an undefeated day. But you also won the giveaway. Congrats. The chat voted. They liked your little Word document there. Well done. It's a whole thesis and a half. Okay, so that'll be it for the stream. It is a little bit past 4. I'm gonna play my game against Tarek pretty soon, and we'll be back tomorrow. And we'll just get back to it then. So, catch you later.